Hey everyone, I wanted you to know that literally nothing went right with this video. The files got corrupted multiple times, and there were issues with the audio in the first place, so if it sounds a bit weird, that's why. Good morning, strangers! Today we're back playing Fabula Ultima, Memory of Barbelo. When we last left off, the party had been on a bit of a trek from Kumu Honua past Kumu Ahi, where Silex did engage with Iga, the glass spirit goddess there. They traveled through Row Mountain, Row Village into Telgard, where they found out that some attack had been made up on Humboldt. They then traveled from Telgard City past the Racal tree, which provided vegetation in this area, to Humboldt, and found it a desolated wasteland with a odd sense of grief about the land. When Minerva Tass finally arrived in the airship a few days later, they found that there was a small skiff, a light land-going and water-going vessel that they could see, that the airship could see to the south. And to the west were tracks leading to the sea from some heavy creature. It was decided that the airship would track and investigate the area towards the sea. The party would go to the Mahawahi Wastes, and a messenger would be sent in order to try and ensure the defenses against most places with an unbound spirit that they could find. And so when we come back to the party, they are traveling south to the Mahawahi Wastes, which are a terrifyingly desolate landscape. As you travel south, you go from this, albeit grief-filled land, but a verdant and green space, and you can practically see the transition in the land where it goes from this verdant land to desolate stone and empty dirt. You would think that this dirt would at least support some life, especially considering, you know, it's in a coastal area where there's a certain amount of water, but there's barely anything. Sometimes a few mushrooms or light ground cover, but beyond that, barely anything. As you spend the next, perhaps day entering or transitioning towards the Mahawahi Wastes proper, the land transitions further to an almost ashen landscape with a level of disquiet and discomfort on the land. There is the same feeling that you found at Humboldt, but whereas whatever happened at Humboldt was, you know, fresh with grief, you now find yourself just filled with a heavy sense of disquiet apathy. You think perhaps it might be the strange feeling of the sun here. It doesn't feel like the light quite reaches it fully. As you arrive, however, you actually see in the distance the small light vehicle that the airship saw previously. It's standing on the northeast corner of the major entry of the Mahawahi Wastes. It would be a fair trek over open lands to get to it, and they would definitely spot you on your approach, given there's not much to cover. Would you like to approach that vehicle directly?
Let's think for a second. Do we have anything that could obfuscate our approach? So, there's nothing out here.
The landscape itself is incredibly empty and surprisingly flat, considering how close it is to the mountain range.
My first thought was like a sandstorm, just to cover our approach.
Ooh.
I was just wondering that if I could maybe use one of my summons to create like a dust storm or a bit of a sandstorm, you know, like a fog or something. Because they've both got like earth capacities. Nanto's got earth and fire.
Do you have ritualism in any capacity?
No.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a challenge.
Right.
Because what you're trying to do there is something called ritualism. Ritualism is It's all the generic, non-direct magical effects. So, for example, an entropist using teleportation would need entropist ritualism. Now,
Right.
Gawain's character, being an elementalist, I believe has baseline ritualism, which is like detect and perceive magic and similar such things. But I don't believe that Gawain has picked up the elemental ritualist ability, which means he wouldn't be able to use like wind elemental powers to create a sandstorm or similar.
I think like, I genuinely think for Pelleas it would be good. But let's think of another plan then.
But right now it's literally just abandoned vehicle and then nothing.
You're quite far away. I wouldn't necessarily say abandoned vehicle. I'm just saying that the vehicle is a very obvious, like the vehicle being much larger than a human.
It's the only thing we can see.
It's very easy to see. If you want to try and, examine and see if you can detect people or other stuff, that's going to be up to you.
Okay, well, at the very least, we should try and see if there is activity at the vehicle nearby, if it's next to something.
So do you want to approach quickly or
cautiously? We don't know what we're running into. Party, let's put it to a vote. Do we want to wait and see what happens? Do we want to walk up to it?
Let's walk up to it.
Yeah, slowly approaching. Sounds fine.
Okay.
You can probably not outrun it if there is somebody and she wants to get away.
Yeah.
We're going to lose them, but otherwise, maybe we'll learn something.
Okay, so cautiously approach it. That means that you're going to approach it in such a way that if, for example, they tried to attack you, you would be ready for that and not be ambushed, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Unless they've got some really inventive means to do so.
But we have no plan if they just try to escape. Then we're like, well, there they go.
Given that they're on a vehicle, there's no way you're catching them on foot without heavy magical support, right?
We do have that tracking device, but I think it's probably too far away and that thing is reserved for somebody else.
Yeah, agreed.
You cautiously approach, and as you get, significantly closer, still, perhaps like a minute or two's walk away, you do see some movement on the vessel as a man appears to be conversing with a woman. The man specifically seems to see your group as you're approaching, converse briefly with the woman, and then extend a hand waving out to you guys to try and get your attention.
Well, that wasn't expected.
No, they seem to be doing it in a greeting way. Like they're like, "Oh, I see you. I want you to see me, so we're not like confused about what's happening" type situation.
Well,
not a like stop right there. It's very casual.
All right.
Time to wave back.
All right.
As you do your casual meetings in the Mahawaii wastes.
Well, why are we out here? You should probably have like an alibi. It's not why we're actually out here.
Do have an alibi.
We're from Telgard University. Pelleas.
We're on a boys' trip around the continent.
As you do.
You are in fact both wearing the uniform of Telgard University students.
We're from the university and we're out here like collecting samples.
Yeah, we're students and we've got some bodyguards.
Silex is an exchange student.
Actually, here I have the perfect cover story. We were on our way back home. Our ride broke down and we have to push it to the next mechanic that is going to be a busty blonde woman.
What?
We have F-15 now?
Yeah. German's got it.
Yeah.
But where's the ride?
Is that important?
Yeah, that wasn't the part that he cared about.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit. Like,
just wanted to
it's a little bit important.
But yeah, I think we just go with like, yeah, we're just students. We're just out here.
We should probably be honest,
doing some
although I'm not
research.
good at that.
Well, being honest seems like a really bad idea here.
As you're approaching, they will go to walk a little ways away from their vehicle. Not so far that they seem fully approaching you, but they seem to have They want enough distance that they can run back to defensive terrain, perhaps, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And as they come out into the waste after a brief few moments, you will come upon them. And we've got a scene for this. Because I wasn't sure if you'd try and execute them or not.
You've got no reason to execute
Kill them on sight. We're monsters.
It's never too late.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah,
But I
never-
Well, have I ever just randomly killed anybody on sight?
Look, she left her murder hobo ways behind her. Now she's a racist hobo.
yeah, no,
She's
exactly.
a racist noble, actually.
I recognize that players can sometimes have profoundly aggressive reactions to arbitrary input, you know? Like, it's fine. You can see here the desolation of the land around you with the red-hued sunlight here being just that little bit uncomfortable. So as you approach, once you get within a distance where they no longer have to, like, shout at you to communicate, you will have the gentleman in front walk up quite friendly in attitude and be like, "Hello, I am Emir. It is good to see you. It is strange to find people here of all places."
Likewise, I'm Pelleas. This is my bestie GAWAIN. This is Silex and Flink.
A pleasure to meet you. This is my daughter, Samira. We are treasure hunting. Can I ask what brings you here?
Same.
Oh, nothing as interesting as treasure. We're taking samples of the soil and other things here for research back at the university.
Which is a sort of treasure.
Yeah, knowledge is its own treasure, or something like that. Anyway, there's real treasure in here.
Emil will glance at Zamira briefly. There will be an exchange of looks between them before Emil looks back to the party, and he'll say, "Yes, indeed, there is something of significant value here that I am after, and I would be willing to pay for it if you were to get your hands on it."
How much?
I'm listening.
I think we need to ask what we're looking for first before we
Yes.
ask how much he's going to pay us, Pelleas.
Yes, I'm going to find it.
How much he's going to pay you depends on exactly how well you're going to find it.
Know how much I'm going to find it.
Yeah.
As you have this like brief intermingling argument, Emir will smile. You can see he's clearly like middle-aged-ish, though his skin appears to have taken a certain amount of sun damage. You'd guess that he's been under the open skies for much of his life.
If this were an anime, he'd be like, what, like 28?
Yeah, if this was an anime, he'd be 28. But in real life, he's like, 30, 40 something. Clearly has an active body and physique, though. Like, this is a man who does things all the time, right? But on smiling between this, he'll say, well, I am looking for he'll make this kind of hand gesture and say, I believe it's a gemstone of sorts. It is an article that was requested to be found by me, and we've been having some trouble acquiring it here. Hence why I'm offering. I would, of course, be willing to offer, say, half the value that I would be making from its sale to you. Which would be, he'll do like some mental maths, as if he's converting from one thing to another. Perhaps it would be 2,000 zenith.
Oh, so, really just loose change.
Players, shut up.
Perhaps for the nobility.
He's
Okay,
not
so-
noble, just an idiot.
I am noble.
What are we
I-
looking for?
How will we know this gemstone when we see it?
Yeah. I'd like to hear the details.
My understanding is that it would be found in. He pulls out from behind him. You can see the kind of cylindrical wooden satchel, for want of a better description, he has around his back. He will pull that open and start going through some documentation and go, it is believed that it would be about one handspan in size, red. Most descriptors say that it is red, and that it would most likely be found in the House of Truth.
House of Truth. Would I know what this is? Side note for lag.
This is not something you've got information on, though there has always been stories of treasure in the Mahawahi Wastes. It is firmly believed that anything of value would have been picked clean. You know that there's a couple landmarks in the Mahawahi Wastes, given your proximity to it. You know that there is a tower that is in the far southwest. You know that there's also some ruins in the water, which has led speculation that it wasn't always an inland sea type area. Given that there are buildings there, it's probably flooded at some point. And you also know that there is probably the most prominent and fully located or fully present area is the Ashen Plaza, which is a set of ruins with a large amount of scorch marks on it, speculated to be some kind of funeral pyre or crematorium or similar.
Okay, so where would we find this House of Truth?
Emir will shrug and be like, indeed, that is the problem that I've been struggling with. You see, we've been exploring the area, and we found some location. There are tracks around the place that indicate potential locations, and there are occasional bits of words in places, but he's going to shake his head and be like, we've been here for 2 weeks now, but not made any progress.
Is there anywhere you have avoided? Because it's just the two of you?
He smiles and says, well, we've avoided staying too long anywhere due to not wanting to die to the undead.
Undead?
Go on. Have I read about this?
You would know that this is one of the locations where the undead are said to sometimes occur.
Okay, so it's a thing, but not like... Okay, all right. I'll ask him questions. Wow. I knew that they were there. I knew they were supposedly out here, but I kind of didn't think it was real.
They are quite terrifying. We had to run away with some rapidity upon finding. There's these ephemeral creatures that look like beings. They will chase you down. Obviously, he gestures to the vehicle behind him. We can make some speed with them, but it means that going too far from the vehicle is dangerous.
Emir, you strike me as some method. I cannot pronounce that word. Method? No. You're a guy that plans ahead. You probably have a map of this place, of the places you scoured through.
Certainly. Would you like to make a copy?
Yes, that is exactly my thought. And then I assume we are going to split up from the sounds of it.
He will smile and say, but of course, I would say that you'll only be paid if you're the one that gets to the gemstone first.
Certainly.
Understandable.
I'll leave that to Silex.
I'm gonna pretend to take a sample of the soil where we are while they're having this conversation. I'm really gonna sell it.
Yeah.
Okay, you actually, you've got some basic background in the elemental sciences, which means you can at least make a good show of it to somebody who wasn't skilled in the field.
Yeah, I can at least pretend like I'm just selling the bit.
Okay, so Amir is going to mark out he's going to take out the map and he's going to mark out the locations and give a brief sketch of what he knows about the locations. This is about the correct time.
This looks lovely.
Wow.
He will convey to you this map with the locations of interest that he's found so far. Emir will speak about having heard something at that ruined mansion, but not being able to discover further before deciding that it was too concerning to simply sit there with his daughter. The Ashen Plaza you have some awareness of already. The Field of Bones he mentions has some kind of feral dog there as far as he can tell. And when he says Field of Bones, he means it's a giant field of bones, like a massive... Perhaps a waste pile, maybe?
Damn.
For industry. It is... it's quite large.
I was just picturing femurs sticking out the ground like corn.
I mean, possibly in some places, certainly. He says he hasn't yet been to the Tall Tower, just because, he's been navigating around the area. But you can see the Tall Tower itself from here. It is impressively tall.
So where were they last attacked by undead?
He'll gesture to the Ashen Plaza. That is where we ran from the spirit things that chased us.
Well, that seems like a good a place to start as any. Go to where there's resistance. Where should we try and meet up if we find this gemstone?
He's going to stroke his chin a moment. And then be like, well, we sit at something of a crossroads. Perhaps here would be best.
All right.
And we'll mark that up here.
So we try to prevent crossing of paths and wasting searching time. Where do you plan on going next?
I think that my next goal will be the Tall Tower. That seems most interesting.
All right. I look around in the group. Do you guys have any questions you want to ask before we get looking?
I just saw looming darkness. Not particularly. I never really seem to have many questions, but perhaps the Ashen Plaza would be good since it's closest.
The mansion does sound interesting as well, but that one is rather far away.
It's true, it's quite distant.
So why not start here?
Well, we've got a few days until they come to pick us up, so may as well be exhaustive.
So, you guys seem to reasonably trust Emir? Like, you don't seem hostile to his offer?
Oh, I don't trust him at all.
Oh?
But I kind of suspect that he's giving us some information to go on.
Hey, he's giving us 2,000 zenith each, right? So he's a pretty trustworthy guy.
Oh, no, it was 2,000 zenith. Sorry,
Total.
2,000 zenith.
Total.
Yeah, 2,000 each. I got that.
Okay, good.
I seem to trust him well enough.
I don't trust his daughter.
Dude, she's just there. What did she do to you?
Exactly.
She is carrying a shockingly large hammer.
Hammer.
Yeah, a hammer.
Okay, now I
Yeah.
trust her.
Yeah.
Like sledgehammer style situation.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that changes everything.
In this particular situation, it makes her seem more reliable.
Yeah, no, she
I was questioning her purpose.
she seems. I didn't describe her, I guess, but she seems like a fit and active person, right? So she has the musculature as such. Similar age to you guys, you think? Like, not very much could, like, he did mention her as his daughter. That seems completely appropriate and on point for the age discrepancy and whatnot, and the deference that she showed to Ymir. Oh, actually, Silex, one thing I would mention. You do note the general, like, phenotypical indicators that would suggest that they are from the western shallow seas.
Oh.
As there's a population that live on the boats, small islands, and artificial islands out that way.
I obviously share this with the group. I'm assuming that they've left at this point and we're getting ready to leave.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so you guys should know if you weren't already aware.
I wasn't aware.
I just assumed he was from a Kumiwaki.
I'm just shocked.
Are we really shocked at Pelleas?
How is that shocking?
It's my job. I'm the straight man.
To be fair, the Kumiahians and the people of the Western Sea do probably share, like, some common features. Like, they're probably a historically intermingled group, right? But okay. I assume you guys are going to be traveling south to the Ashen Plaza.
Yeah.
To the Ashen Plaza.
Excellent.
Yes.
So you make your journey south through this desolate and sad location, and you can see the ruins of what looks like, based on the parts of the ruins you can see, that would have been some kind of circular construction, perhaps, with pillars around it. It may have had a roof at some point. You know, you can't, from a distance, you can't necessarily identify that. There isn't any evidence of it now, but you could certainly see there having been a roof historically. A couple things you do note. The grounds as you approach, like, there's a very distinct, more flattened area that clearly distinguishes a path. Like, there's very obviously, like, some kind of main path that you are following down here. And you guys could probably see that on the map, that there's those little darker paths that indicate that.
Following paths is not a bad idea. We are looking for a house. A house would be connected to a path, ideally.
Given it's called the House of Truth, it's probably like some kind of more bigly serious type of house.
My expectation is that if Ymir has not found it in the 2 weeks that he has been here, it is because it is somewhere that he cannot go. Not
exactly.
that it's somewhere that he happens to have not gone.
Cannot go, or there are not enough ruins to be seen from a distance.
Yeah.
I'm definitely with Gawain. I think going towards large quantities of monsters or resistance.
Yeah.
Ethereal resistance will yield the best results in our search.
Yeah, let's do this for the money.
Flink can try out his new toy.
It is disappointing that he didn't seem to mention anything akin to Kuei. Any strange activity out here aside from undead.
Well, one thing I think could be interesting would be finding out how they got here.
I mean, just across the shallow sea.
Yeah.
The skiff should carry them.
You think that skiff itself can do it?
So yeah, based on the look of the vehicle, it does seem like a vehicle that hovers just above the ground when in action. So you could imagine it could do it over water as well.
Okay.
Sorry, that was my assumption. I thought we had all pictured the same thing.
I picture nothing.
I'm impressed that it handles the open sea that well.
Well, the shallow seas of the West are surprisingly calm just due to the fact that there's large parts of it which are no more than like 6 to 12 feet deep.
Okay.
If you're traveling through those areas, you can quite readily make your way through with relative safety, even in quite fragile vessels.
Okay.
Certainly, this is not a vessel that could handle, 20-foot waves. It would be drowned by them.
Yeah. If it's not rocky, you could kayak your way around it.
Yeah, it's that kind of level. Like, you could probably take a kayak out to the Western Seas and be okay. It actually, there's a distinct issue with shipping in the Western Seas just because the heavier vessels have a whole bunch of places that they literally can't traverse because it's not deep enough, and they would run aground.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, I think this is a good opportunity to try and unravel the mystery of what the heck happened here. So,
Certainly.
let's continue on.
So, what do you guys know about this place?
From the best of my understanding, there was a spirit here of some kind that was not kept well, and that this is what happens to areas where you do not have pacts with your spirits.
That feeling that we had, in Humboldt, do we get the same, vibe?
As you're around here, there is that same sense of grief,
Okay.
but also, whereas in Humboldt there was like a raw freshness to it, here there's that sense of just apathy of it being done.
It's like decay.
Somehow. Yeah, decayed, done,
Okay.
finished.
I think the spirits was moved from this land a long time ago.
Yeah, but doesn't it feel like Humboldt?
Sort of.
You guys don't have any previous knowledge of the wastes.
We just know the what's essentially myth,
Yeah.
There are
Because-
ruins here, there's, it flooded, it's barren, and
My people have stories about this place.
Oh.
if you think there's truth buried in any of it,
Well, it's all, as you guys have said, it's myth, legend, but the stories go that this was the home of our ancestors. We all used to live here in unrecorded history, and there was a great cataclysm that split us all up, sent us around the world.
wonder if it had anything to do with rejection of pacts. Like culturally, it's been passed down among your people. Right? If it's a pact that went wrong in some
Yeah,
way,
or-
like through an abusive.
There's no details to say one way or the other, but that's an interesting idea.
I guess I'm that's like whatever, but I'm positing that whatever happened in Humboldt is the cataclysm that happened here. Like it's like the same type of disaster, even if maybe this one was natural or like a different type of,
I definitely am fearing that this is a relearning of what had happened before and a deliberate recreation.
yeah, it could be anything like
Yeah.
that. But I feel like if we came back to Humboldt in 1,000 years or whatever the number is that Gawain would obviously know,
It looked like this.
it would feel like this. Yeah.
Unless we
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
find the spirit and return it to the land.
So
This is also a much larger scale than what's happened in
let's
Humboldt.
explore and see if we can find any evidence for or against that theory while we're trying to find this treasure. And maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe we'll get everything we want.
Yeah.
All we can do is try.
Yeah. Keep his eye out for Dr. Kwai and the House of Truth.
I don't think Koei is here,
So,
but I think maybe if we can unravel this mystery, it might help us deal with Koei.
Yes.
so I have never heard of this place, but I'm also not from this island.
Yeah, but hear me out, Flink. 2,000 zenith.
Yeah, for each of us. That's great.
Flink, you're going to be disappointed.
So just look for clues, and like I said, hopefully we'll find it all together. Maybe not in the same place, but
Yeah. If I found it first, I'll probably give it to my mother as a gift. But I'll let the man know that we found it.
As you close on the Ashen Plaza, you do see human figures here. They seem to be standing, walking around the place. This is your first sight of the place. So you're still quite far away. This is like the first point at which you can just about resolve that hey, there's some humanoid figures walking around there. So these humanoid figures seem to be, as you're slowly approaching, they seem to be walking paths that seem very specifically avoiding things that don't seem to be there anymore.
They're avoiding things that don't seem to be there.
Yeah, like they seem to be like taking a turn around something and then turning back to continue on the same path.
Like walking around squares that we can't see.
They're living in the past.
Perhaps, yeah.
Buildings that used to be there.
They remember the town as it was.
Okay, that's interesting. If we had the time, we could observe them and see if they are going into buildings that aren't there anymore.
That's something that, Gawain could do in, 10 minutes max. Draw a boxy, just lines layout, not pretty recreation of this culture's buildings. The box layout of I'm pretty sure they're, where they're walking, this is the street or whatever, or a building must be here, probably could give us at least some points of interest.
Certainly.
If we sit down and look.
But it would probably take, considering how many you'd have to track and how slow they're moving, it would probably take a fair while, realistically.
Yeah. I mean, we either do that or we just waltz in and wander around. The advantage here is that ruins that, couldn't be seen.
Yeah. I mean...
This would be an example of something. What if the house isn't even here anymore? But, we can figure out where it is based on them.
Certainly. I mean, Amir did have to leave this area due to being attacked and choosing to leave rather than try and fight it.
I mean, yeah, I'm down to spend some time here.
So, to be clear, there's some clear visible ruins here of what looked like a fairly large circular structure. You're guessing it was circular based on the remnants you can see as you're approaching. And then there are some other less obvious bits of rubble, and there's a few humanoid figures navigating around both the central area and the bits of rubble near the locale. And as Sabata does mention, buried basements could have stuff in them. But if you approach much closer, you're almost certainly going to incur the interests of whatever the humanoid figures are walking around here. And you guys are smart enough to realize that it's probably some kind of undead here.
Yeah.
You don't have to do a study check to know that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind spending an hour helping you try to map out what the building situation here was, because I think there's a lot of credence to a building that no longer exists potentially having what we're looking for.
Yeah, it's in the basement of the house that's walls are no longer there.
And I don't want to have to just kill all of the things and then mindlessly walk around and try to re-find where they were.
I agree.
Okay, so you're going to spend time just essentially watching and examining. You're going to hunker down somewhere where you're not too visible, and you're just going to, I guess, sit down there and hunker and examine for a while.
Yeah, I might have to get a couple angles. Presumably we'll gather some. We'll have some sort of things where let's go look over there, type stuff.
So I think that's going to be it's definitely going to involve an insight check, and I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be 2 insight checks from Gawain.
Give me that group check, baby. I know there are rules for it, but I don't remember what they are.
Let's go find out how that works. We haven't used them before.
Okay, the characters nominate a leader let's call it Gawain.
Yeah.
This is the character who will perform the final check and determine the action's outcome. Everyone else acts as a supporting character. Each supporting character performs a support check, identical to the one the leader will perform, but with a fixed difficulty of 10.
Okay.
Fumbles and critical successes generate no opportunities, but still count as automatic failures or successes. Each supporting character that successfully performs a check grants a +1 bonus to the leader's check.
Okay.
If anyone has a bond towards the leader, then you get to add their bond to the check. Doesn't look like it costs you anything. And then the leader performs the final check.
Okay, so Silex, you're helping. So if you roll, I think Insight plus Insight feels pretty good. I think the way this works is you click it and determine the DCs, which is 10 for each. And then that makes you the leader, and then everyone else is probably going to get a little prompt saying, do you want to help the group check?
Cool.
Yeah, support group check.
Yeah.
There it is.
Sick.
So anyone that wants to support this check, presumably anyone with decent insight.
There we go. I have supported.
Yeah, that's what we want. Okay, so Silex has got the success.
Wait, I can choose a bond.
Yeah, if you if you have a bond with me, or if you have 2 bonds with me, then you pick which one you want to use. You get to add it to your roll.
Oh, God damn it.
Okay, that's a 7. That's just a straight failure. Pelleas, are you assisting this, or you just tell them to go fuck themselves?
I've just found it. And I will...
This is fun. And then I roll.
Okay.
I
Then
got a
you roll
failure.
to get the bonus.
9, 10, 11.
So, with this time that you spent, you are able to map out an approximation of some supporting structures to the main location. You think that the plaza itself was devoid of structure, except for perhaps the middle part. There is an aversion to the middle part for some reason. So it's a circle, then perhaps maybe a ring, and then possibly a structure in the middle, or possibly something else, or a reason not to walk there. There are a number of smaller structures around the area, but they seem to be independent, smaller structures rather than complex buildings, thus unlikely to have like basements and similar. Possibly just like support buildings for whatever the main plaza structure here is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I want to check this place out.
If you want to like actually start investigating on the ground level, you're gonna have to get into a scrap, most certainly.
I mean, I'm okay with that if you guys are. They might be dumb enough that we can like ambush them, right? Like we just mapped out their entire little walking routes. Like so like an ambush would be very easy to do at this point. But like other than that, like seems like
I'm right behind you
go
guys.
I'm behind you.
You maneuver around, and rather than have you fight like every single potential enemy here, we're gonna have it be representative, right?
Let's do it. I'm
Cool.
always in on expediting.
You are gonna get into a fight though, but it's gonna be a representative fight of the things you encounter. So you are able to navigate through here, and mostly you can readily like separate out the threats and eliminate them kind of one by one. But once you've got most of them out, you still need to approach the central plaza, which has the highest density of these creatures. And these creatures themselves are not quite skeletal, but they are definitely not wrapped in flesh. They seem to be almost wrapped in ash, you would say. They have that kind of texture to them of dust and ash rather than of flesh and bone and rot, which, Gawain, you've done some research, you know some Lawmaster stuff. Your traditional undead entity from the horrifying types of people that would bring them into existence, or the places that would bring them into existence, tend to be very kind of grotesque. These just seem ancient. And so as you arrive to attempt to take out this lost group in the central area, you will arrive at the Ashen Plaza and engage with these hostile creatures. You take out one or two on the way in, but by the time you get here, they are before you and beset upon you. And as such, you engage with the violence that is so familiar to you. And let's start a combat encounter.
They look cool.
They do. Like, sort of ghostly, but also zombies.
However, one thing that is perhaps concerning about this situation as you move in to attack them in this central plaza is the appearance of these barely manifest entities. As you go in to make your assault, they appear behind you. And you feel their cold tendrils of violating energies. And we begin the combat with more than you expected.
I didn't sign up for ghosts.
However, as it's not a villain, you do get to pick who goes first. So please, party, pick your actions.
All right, Flint goes first and hides.
Excellent.
It's good.
Perfect. Okay. The curious long dead will attempt to devour Silex.
No.
When they attempt to hit, they fail. Pelleas, Silex, Gawain, you're up.
Here, can I forgot to do this. The timing was wrong. I get to do this at the start of the conflict.
Oh, yes, you have your thing. What are you attempting to do?
I would like to do a thing. Give me a quick second. I would like to pick the suspicious long dead, and I would like to name Light.
And you get to know what its value is.
Yeah, towards that
Okay.
element. Yeah.
You would know that it is vulnerable to light.
Cool. So
Your immediate knowledge of the undead suggests that light damage is the most classically violating. In fact, you would imagine that the fact that the light here is so strange with the ash hanging in the atmosphere, that might be the reason why these undead can persist here.
Mm.
Because normally you don't find undead under a open sun.
Flink, I'm gonna leave those to you.
To me, you take care of the ghosts, and I'll take care of the other ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Your new knife should, destroy those.
Knife? You mean mine Ofuda?
Yeah, your Fuda,
Of
sorry.
death.
Your new tag. Your new
Be respectful
paper
to my
word.
weapon.
Yeah. The Afuda
Okay,
of
so-
death, sorry.
Pelleas, Silex, Gawain, who's acting?
I don't think they can understand me because they're dead.
You do
So-
not have the ability to communicate with the undead yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Me being able to tell them off and condemn them is going to be a bit hard without understanding
I
me.
would like to go last, or
Okay.
at least until I use my protect.
All right, then I will go first, and I'll just attack. I'm going to attack Overwhelmed Wisp. I want to put it out of its anxiety. Soothe its
Excellent.
anxieties.
A 19 is a hit. You impact it with 17 physical damage, which rips right through it, doing nothing.
Nothing. Let's go. Okay.
Oh,
Oh. Who did you shoot again? I didn't pay attention.
One of the ghosts. Just testing
okay,
a theory.
Okay. Yeah. I'll shoot the ghost.
No.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Overwhelmed Wisp, having just been assailed, will in turn attempt to use its drain attack on Link. This is a ranged attack.
Ooh.
9 to hit, 12 dark damage. And this targets your magical defense.
That's a tie, but
Attacker
since
gets priority unless you have...
I use Ninpo Hikin no Yaiba Jutsu and deflect his attack.
Okay, cool. Nimpo, Hikin no Yaba Jutsu. You spend 14 MP, and you force the attack to fail. Pelleas, Silex, you're up.
I'm wondering whether it'd be a good idea for me to summon Nanto. Don't know if any of my attacks would do any damage to it, though.
It's hard to know right now. I
I
mean,
mean, there's really only one way to find out.
yeah, I don't
Alright.
think it's a terrible idea. Like, dude,
In that case, I am summoning Nanto. Where be my Nanto?
Excellent. So you spend, I believe it's 30 MP, and you are now merged with Nanto.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. That was Pelleas. The Pensive Wisp is going to assail Silex. Actually, no, they'll assail Pelleas, because Pelleas is in the back row.
Ah.
17 to hit, 40, and that's a critical, and that's an opportunity.
boom,
Ow!
Boom!
No.
Headshot. Now, Silas
Right,
could
well,
still protect against...
yeah.
I will
Incoming.
be absorbing that one.
See,
Okay,
exactly as
so
planned.
Silex takes the damage instead.
So let's see. How does this work?
Whenever you take
'Cause it's
damage, you have flat DR, don't you? Isn't it like
Yeah.
yeah?
I just how does it interact with crits? Do I take the crit and then subtract, or do I subtract and then it crits?
I mean, crits don't do extra damage, they grant an opportunity.
Oh, right, I'm dumb. Never mind. Okay, so
This
I
isn't
take
D&D. I know we were talking about it before, but this isn't D&D.
so I take this and then
you
I
take
just
14.
get 4 health back.
Because you... This is actually important. You don't get 4 health back, you reduce the damage by
Yes.
4.
Yes, I just don't have
That's
a way
important because it has MP absorption. That's all.
Okay.
Its MP absorption does, in fact, interact with some other mechanics. So
Interesting. Got it.
that's just mild point. Okay, Silex, it's your action.
So I lose the MP as well, or they just
No.
get back for the damage they deal?
It converts HP
Got
into MP.
Heard. All right. I'm going to hit one of the physical dudes in front of me. I'll target the curious long dead, and
Excellent.
I will give him the old smack.
With a 10 to hit, you do 13 physical damage to the curious long dead.
Nice.
The suspicious long dead will assault Gawain, using sheer just brute force to attempt to batter him down. 19th.
Damn.
Oh,
Damn.
Bring it on.
damn. Oh! With 19 to hit, it delivers 17 physical damage.
Yeah, it's fine.
The turn is over. We wrap back around. It is the party's action.
Hey, Pelleas.
You want some encouragement?
No, I want you to multi-bonk a ghost and a long dead.
Yes, that actually sounds like a good idea.
I'm very curious to see the outcome of hitting them each with fire.
Okay, so you target one long dead. Which long dead are you targeting?
I am targeting the curious, long dead, and the pensive wisp.
Excellent. Okay, so the curious long dead is vulnerable to fire and takes 13 damage twice because it's the way elements work. The pensive wisp is not vulnerable, but is damageable with fire, and as such will take 13 damage as well.
Ah, cool.
Fuck yes, says Gawain.
We can do a thing.
By the way, I'm just saying, if you dismiss, that's going to do a lot of damage to those long dead.
It's true.
Yeah.
Now, it would leave you without an option for doing damage to the wisp, but, you know, I'm just saying, it's there. It would, now that you know that they're vulnerable, it would do 60 damage to each long dead.
And one-shot them, apparently.
I
Gotta
mean,
kill them
if
wisps.
that's honestly, then yeah, we can all turn on the wisps and let you just one-shot them next turn. I'm okay with that. It's their turn, right?
Yes, it is their turn. The pensive wisp, having seen Pelleas beat it with fire, is going to use Umbra. Expending the MP that it drained from assaulting Silex, is going to cast the spell Umbra, targeting a single target, as it does not have enough MP to target more than that, in part due to Silex devouring people. That is a 5 to hit Pelleas. That is a miss versus your magic defense. It does nothing.
Right.
So your MDF is higher than 5.
Can confirm. Party actions.
I want to wait, ideally.
Okay. Then
Gawain, are you good enough to invoke light, or is that not a thing that you learned?
I can't do light.
God damn it.
That's all you, baby. What? You cover it. You're covering poison and light damage for us, okay? Calm down.
No, I just wanted to mock you for fun as a friend.
Oh, okay. Well then, that's fine.
I would say, as
I don't need
Savannah
it.
said, the Pensive Wisp's attempt to cast Umbra were interceded on by Nanto, which I think is a cool concept.
Yeah, I love
Just
that.
burning the dark magic out the air.
So I'm trying to
sweet.
decide if I want to do fire or if I want to, like, get cute. But I should probably just do fire. So I'm going to go ahead and dump my 10 MP on Elemental Weapon for myself and make an attack
Excellent.
on the Pensive Wisp, because I believe he is the one who has been hit.
That is accurate.
So that's fire damage.
18 fire damage. Excellent. Now I've got to manually edit that.
Yeah,
Copy
sorry.
mass.
I wish Elemental Weapon was cooler. Really, what we need is just a toggle somewhere. It's like...
You can have that as an effect. You can change the element as an effect, but it's kind of
Yeah,
complicated.
I remember
to
you
write.
and I talked about it, yeah.
The Pensive Wisp is now in crisis as the effective fire damage rents through its body, or lack thereof, as it may be. So Gawain has acted. It is the Curious Long Dead's action. The Curious Long Dead will attempt to ravenously bite Pelleas.
Ah. Huh. Wait, that
That's
doesn't
a
actually
miss.
hit me.
That's a miss. It's a sad miss.
Not by much,
some of
though.
the saddest misses. Really, not by much. How? No, that's a significant miss. You've got
I'm a
9
9.
defense. That's
I
still
am
a
so
significant
used
miss.
to. I am still used to set Lana's like 24.
That's true. Svetlana was a shipwreck house.
Life clerics do be like that.
Flank Silex, you're up.
I guess I'll go next, so you can keep your guard up.
Yeah, sure.
All right, I will do a similar thing. I'm going to cast Elemental Weapon,
Excellent.
Earth.
My brother.
And
Understandable.
let me see if I can do this myself. Change this to Earth real quick. And now, theoretically, if I bonk the Pensive Wisp with this, there we go.
Go.
Nice. You got the change. That's classy.
18 damage delivered to the Pensive Wisp. It is not yet dead. However, the magical earth damage is willing and able to shred its ephemeral form. It is looking decidedly faint from existence.
Do you have 2 versions of twin shields in your inventory?
I was thinking about doing that long term, but I am just going into the items,
Gotcha.
hitting edit, and then just changing the damage type.
Yeah.
So the overwhelmed wisp will act with the intent to drain somebody. It is going to drain. I realize I rolled it first, but it's going to drain. I guess Gawain would be the target. I think Gawain hasn't been targeted as much.
I can drain everybody with this, can't it?
So 16 versus your MDef and attempts to
I'm
drain
pretty
you.
sure that hits me.
It
Yeah,
does.
yeah, it does.
It does hit you unless Silex protects.
You're already hurt. I should probably take this for you.
Okay. Silex is delivered against you instead, delivering a total of 10 damage due to your reductions.
So I'll just subtract it manually then instead of
Gotcha.
taking the 14 from here.
Flank your action.
Alright, I'm going with my Death Fooder against the Overwhelmed Wisp.
Excellent.
My plan.
Fucking hell.
Does it hit though?
It does hit. These guys
it
don't
hits.
participate in defensive traits.
Good. Oh, I would have been so sad.
Oh my gosh.
Light
him up,
You
baby.
one-shot it.
Fantastic. Alright, I'll take off my
There we go.
buffs now. Or this one buff for now.
It was at full
And-
health and you deleted it.
That's 27 light damage.
I was
and then
expecting
it takes
this.
54 damage. Oh, wow.
Oh, I
Yeah.
wait, there is an error in there. It is supposed to be just 21 light damage. The HR gets subtracted. So it's just 42.
Oh, I mean, if that's your only attack, the HR is applied.
It's true. All right. Well, let's stick with that then.
Oh, in that case, can I just dismiss?
I think we got an enemy attack and then.
All right.
There is an enemy attack incoming. The suspicious long dead will endeavor to violate causality, and it will use its undead strength to beat on Flink. Flink, how you feel about getting some undead strength beating upon you?
I'm fine with undead strength. I'd rather have them gnaw at me than be touched by a wisp.
Than violate you. Yeah, no, understandable. Yeah. It's an 18 to hit, 15 physical damage.
Okay, never mind. I don't like this.
Man, these guys are rolling hard.
Yeah. I take this. My brain!
Flink.
We ascend to a new round. I assume, Pelleas, you take the dismiss action?
Yes.
Okay.
This will be fun.
You should just be able to click on Nanto Dismiss.
Yeah, I always click on the description and not the actual thing.
It does not eliminate the suspicious long dead.
Oh.
It does, however, bring them into critical, so you have grossly violated them.
Yeah.
As Nanto's flames reach out, parting like a sea around the party and burning down the enemy.
We do my limit break.
Oh, nice.
Silex, you experience Nanto's flames somewhat different this time around. After your willingness to engage with them last time, you can feel that there is a deliberate movement of the flames around you. Whereas the pattern last time was just an action, whereas last time you witnessed it was an action of just pure outbursting violence, barely evading you, this time it seems like the flames, as they wrap around you and go towards the enemy, they seem to deliberately, almost an attempt at kindness as they navigate around you. It's almost uncomfortable. Like, fire should not behave in this way as it attempts to offer this kindness, you think?
I was definitely bracing for more of the same, and even though it's weird and disconcerting, it's also calming, relieving. Like, that's the more important feeling that I'm attached to in the moment.
As if something that doesn't know how is making an effort. Speaking of which, it's top of the round. The only thing left living is the suspicious long dead, which is going to attempt a ravenous bite against Pelleas. With a 12 to hit.
Ow! I hurt. That is painful
I cannot
to me.
help you because it has not been my turn yet. I'm sorry.
It's also, sometimes you just gotta take 12 damage. It's fine. Walk it off.
True. If it'll let me click and set the damage. There we go.
You take 12 damage from the ravenous bite, and then you have 3 actions with which to kill the suspicious long dead. You achieve that, okay?
We don't need to roll it.
You achieve it. You attain victory via violence, because between the 3 attacks of you, I'm sure you can deliver 10. That's it. It's done. It's done. That's it.
32.
Glory
Done.
hog, goddammit.
Instant KO. Done. Solved.
I stole Side's idea. Very good idea. Except what I did is I literally just made 5 copies of my pistol.
Very nice.
Can I hold all these pistols?
Yeah, how can I hold all these pistols? They were the same pistol the whole time. It's like one of those pens that when we were kids that had all the colors on one pen, you know?
Oh yeah, and then everyone would try and push 2 of them down at the same time.
That's what my gun looks like. I can't push down 2 at the same time. I keep trying to make lava happen, and it's not working.
Okay, so you have eliminated the dead. The the spirits disapparate into the wisps, I should say, disapparate into a kind of fine, almost ectoplasmic dust that lays across the ground. The long dead simply collapse, their burnt bodies no longer able to sustain any kind of activity. The location is now silent around you.
Can we burn their corpse completely?
Certainly, there is nothing inhibiting you from doing that.
I think that would be appropriate. And then make some makeshift graves for them.
You make some makeshift graves, although actually no, if you burn their corpses completely, you would actually find that once you apply enough fire, they just become ash, like so much of the piles of ash around here.
Okay, I should maybe rephrase that. Maybe not like actual graves to bury them, but like just
markers to indicate that.
Stack
passing.
Stack some stones to indicate somebody died here.
Excellent. Okay, so you mark a small cairn of stones to mark the deaths.
I help you. I move at least one large rock for you to start the piles.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I watch you do it.
I was wondering earlier, did Pelleas actually participate in going through the dirt? That doesn't sound like something Pelleas would do.
I supported you, like, emotionally.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, you are very encouraging in what we people do.
Yes, I am very encouraging.
A supervisory role.
Yeah, somebody needs to do it.
Like a 40-year-old man watching you put a flat pack together.
So, you are now being close to the central area, which was the primary point of interest in this location. You're now able to investigate much more closely, given that there's no longer people assaulting you. And you notice, now that you're close in this central plaza of this circular plaza, that the central area where the undead weren't walking is very clearly scorched. The ground is very distinctly scorched in that central area, in a way that indicates that there have been or were some level of great pyre or fire or potentially powerful light magics or similar. It is a white-hot, ashen burn. Around the circumference of this, you find the various remnants and ruins, and now you can investigate them more closely if you choose.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to dig through ashes and remains of everybody.
And I will observe.
Okay, so I think Flink, you especially are going to have a skill set that works really well for you here. You, as your history suggests, have done some treasure hunting, right?
Yeah.
So between the group and between your skills, you will succeed in being able to find the few remnants of information here. Your investigation leads you to ascertain that some of the markings here are markings to what you know, given your history with airships, as Oban, which you know of as a storm that actually circumnavigates the globe on a regular basis.
Oh? Can I determine how long ago this storm was here?
There's nothing necessarily indicating time, but there are messages indicating a repetitious passing. So you find elements of may Oban carry with it the souls. And that indicates to you, based on these occasional scripts of text on the walls and ruins, that perhaps this was like some kind of funerary location, that there was some veneration to the storm of Oban carrying the souls of the dead away.
Well, obviously we share this with the group. See if somebody has insight to if that has any implication to what happened to this place.
Well, I don't think this is the House of Truth, but
Yeah,
I think it's
probably.
interesting that this spirit was clearly acting differently then than it does now.
Yeah, I was
It
more
is
like
very
thinking.
strange, right? Like, because you guys know, to your modern knowledge, Oban is a storm. Like, it's definitely a storm, not a spirit, as far as you're concerned.
I mean, yes, but the implication, I guess. So like Gawain would then so like I guess I'm positing, or like the speculation is like, what if Oban is like, like a wind, like a local wind spirit, right? Like big powerful one, probably given the size of the waste, and like something occurs, and for like we've talked about like pacted spirit, like pacted and non-pacted, like how like there's like two sides to the coin usually, it seems like when they're out of control versus like when, or like not even pacted, but like happy or unhappy really is like a better way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like like a wind spirit and like a tempest are very much two sides of the same coin, right? So like this jives with other things we've already seen.
So the Oberon that we would know as a storm essentially could have started off as a spirit.
Yeah, and what if, then it maybe it didn't disappear, but in some way it has been ripped away from this land, right? That was depending on it. And now it wanders in like a destructive form. Yeah, maybe we could find him like at the middle of the storm and like pack him and bring him back here or something. That would be insane.
That would be insane.
This is insane, but I mean, I've seen just as crazy things with you guys
like,
so far.
Put it in our pocket. We can't do it right now, but like, yeah, like that's an idea we should definitely keep in mind.
But like, have any of you been witness to Oben's power? Do you know how big that storm is?
I don't know what his weather patterns are like, but presumably yes. Presumably I have seen it.
Maybe without realizing.
I'm gonna guess that we'll need a raincoat.
Probably need more than a raincoat.
Well, I meant like we also like would have to have like transportation that could like withstand a storm and all. We can't do this right now.
There's a reason why Kumuhanua is built underground. Predominantly, and it's because of that storm.
Well, we need to find a way to navigate it, but not now. That's not why we're here.
I'm glad that it isn't because of Severisport.
And this is all just this is all just an idea. Let's go somewhere else.
Wait.
This isn't the House of Truth.
Flink should know this. Is this island a common place for a storm like that to, maybe not to occur, but just to pass by?
It would have passed by on occasion. I wouldn't say common per se. The Storm of Oban is well known, at least these days, to have a very not random but unpredictable pathing. It isn't something that can be readily predicted. It's kind of like a gently locomotive natural disaster. Erratic, certainly, Sabata. Places can predict it like a month out. But beyond that, it's anyone's guess where it ends up.
His name is Oban?
O-B-A-N. Yes.
O-B-A-N. Okay, well, I would like to use a Fabula point.
Okay.
And to declare that Flink has actually heard stories of Oban in the past, and from his perspective as somebody who has been on airships. Absolutely. And Oban is actually something that people usually point out as, if you see Oban, you turn around as quickly as you can.
Okay. So, Flink knows that Oban, it's like the storm of Oban is a it's a horrifying omen. You witness it, you leave. You do not attempt to follow in its footsteps. You do not attempt to weather its path. You leave and you hide. That is Flink's understanding of it. And I imagine that is the viewpoint of many greater The greater viewpoint of airship pilots, perhaps around the world, would have a similar opinion.
Yeah, Flink hasn't seen it personally, but
Fly and die.
he has heard stories.
I have ideas cooking,
Yeah.
but we'll come back to them later.
Certainly.
We should go visit somewhere else.
We should probably move while we talk.
So this is
Excellent.
interesting. Was there anything else that we found artifact-wise in any of the old buildings or around the shrine?
As far as artifacts go, it's surprisingly desolate and empty. It is almost uncanny how little there is in terms of, like, personal detritus. Even as you dig through locations that you think there should be something, like, you're not finding, pots, for example. You would expect there to be
Something.
ceramics and such. Almost, like, by and large, the only things that seem to hold with any serious aplomb are the major pillars of the plaza, and even that seems massively destroyed. Although, something you do note, intriguingly, like, just that weird little, like, that's odd. You note that the vast majority of things that have collapsed, like, over 70% of them, seem to have fallen, as best as you can tell, eastwards.
Okay. Okay. I have an interesting idea. We might be just on the eastern side of the blast.
Yeah, same thing.
Whatever the epicenter of
Yes.
the disaster was.
Yeah, that's a better way of saying it. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the ruinous mansion, that location, is much closer to the center.
Let's do it. Well, I mean, do you guys let's just go to the next one, like next closest one?
Well, let's just consult the map. Do we have
Okay.
that on standby?
Yeah, come on, bring it out, Dora.
Okay, so, as before, you've got, like, the Field of Bones mentioned here that was supposedly inhabited by perhaps some kind of dog entity. The mansion far over this way, and the Tool Tower. The Tool Tower was where Emir was planning to head next. And presumably because he has, like, the fastest transport here.
So, while the Field of Bones doesn't really sound like a relevant lead to either of the things we're trying,
It is on the way.
it is so on the way, yeah.
Are you going to attempt to navigate what remains of the roads, or are you just going to trek as the crow flies?
There is a road that seems to go most of the way to the Field of Bones.
Certainly.
So we can follow it and then take the catty corner.
Sure, and cut through.
So as you will traverse
Hike here.
like here, and then take the
Yeah.
angle. Yeah, okay. Because the landscape is so open, traversing off the roads isn't particularly challenging. It's mildly more difficult, but not so much more difficult.
Presumably it's more like elevation, like dust dunes. Is like what I was
Yes.
imagining.
That's
like
where
sort
you're
of.
getting, like, dust dunes and some rocks here and there. Like, vegetation is practically non-existent here. You guys are glad you brought food, because you would not find any here. There is no forage to be found.
Ugh, the shitty gray dunes. Ugh.
So as you traverse this way, the landscape changes somewhat to be, like, as you get into this, like, general area, perhaps, it kind of progresses into a more rough terrain. It goes from a relatively flat terrain into a kind of more rough landscape. Not so much that you're really struggling to maneuver through it, but there's just that, like, tonality of the land that's changed, if that makes sense.
It's rockier.
Yeah, rockier, more errant ruins and bits of rubble. Perhaps this was more dense urbanly previously. And you transition up, making your way through here into the area of the Field of Bones. And as you get close, you identify why, in fact, it was called the Field of Bones. It is, as best as you can tell, the equivalent of multiple stadiums worth of bones, nominally about waist to shoulder height. They appear scattered over the entire area with what appear to be, like, desire paths through them, if that makes sense. Like, small areas where you could potentially navigate through without interceding on all of the bones themselves. it's a mess. It's a difficult, challenging mess to navigate through.
Well, this is downright horrifying.
You mean I'm having a great time?
Gawain, you have some background in identifying creatures.
I do.
You would identify, like, obviously the bones are very old here.
Okay.
You can't get like a clear identification on, specifics, but you can get broad categorizations. And there does seem to be some level of organization here. There's definitely quadruped type heavyset creatures here, like the bones of quadruped heavyset creatures here. And then somewhere else, there's like smaller, maybe like biped or winged creatures, like the bones of biped or winged creatures here. There's some distinction between these sections. If you want more information, you'd have to have specific questions, though, and maybe roll some checks.
But the piles are intentionally organized by species question mark.
Yeah, like that's what it feels like.
Okay.
Obviously, whatever happened here, there's been like maybe 1,000 years of wind, dust, geographical movement, and all of that. You can't be like, oh yeah, this is the edge of a field here or anything. But you can be like, oh, I noticed we've transitioned from like the quadruped section to the snake-like creature.
Great.
Section.
I mean, I guess my question is kind of vague, but like, do any of them jump out at me as like, oh, I recognize that, versus like, it's just a big thing?
I'm just saying, this is exactly how I would organize bones.
Understandable.
Go on. Sorry.
Well,
Wait, Pelleas, you don't have your own bone collection at home?
my mother wouldn't let me have my own bone collection at home.
Your mother is not like a dog phenotype.
No, she isn't. She's human.
Yeah, that would be the reason why.
I just think it's selfish.
I think if you explain to her in a proper manner that this is how you want to live your life and you're on the way to discover yourself, she will understand. Talk about how it's just a phase and you will get through it. I think those are good ways to convince her.
I think she'd clip me around the ear and call me a bad boy.
Okay, I want to be there if that happens.
Yeah, I actually have a question that's kind of along the lines of what Savannah's asking, too. What I was going to ask is about the sort of variety, and then my and maybe a bigger question of like, do I see anything that looks humanoid?
I think insight plus willpower check, and the reason I'm suggesting willpower here is because you're trying to maintain a level of concentration on something that is fundamentally a lot of noise. So I think there's a mental component of like actually being able to be aware of just the sheer amount of differentiation here to try and ascertain additional details.
A 7 is great.
Yeah, a 7, not as strong as it could be. So there are sections that contain bones that could have been humanoid, perhaps, but also possibly could have been something like kobolds, for example.
Okay. And then I had sort of a larger question about like quantity. The quantity is very high, right?
Yes, the quantity seems excessive.
Is the variety high, or is the variety low?
You think you've seen at least 10 different very clearly distinct types.
That's kind of high. But yeah, my first thought as we were walking through, was livestock. Like, why else would they have gathered all this here in an orderly fashion?
Do all of the piles seem like they're all ancient, buried in ash, or does this stuff look like it's been moved after the stuff settled?
Some of it does look like it's been moved relatively recently, By recently, I mean last 50 years.
Yeah.
And
It doesn't look like it's a feature of the terrain.
Speaking of which, you will hear movement as you
Great.
traverse through this field of bones. A scurrying through some nest, like a rabbit running through a briar.
Okay, hear me out, guys. What if, alternate option, this is just arranged collecting by someone or someone's?
It's definitely a dog. A big dog that's collecting its bones. I'm not really sure we're going to find a house of truth here. And if Carway was here, it'd probably have been eaten by this dog at some point and arranged in the bones.
As you're having this discussion, what bursts out in front of you is a section, a group, a pack of several pale-colored creatures. They howl aggressively at you. As you arrive on scene between these howling dogs going... Rrr. So yes, there are growling dogs before you. Pelleas, you have the chimera's ability to understand beasts. These are beasts.
Yes.
And as such, you would understand this growling and anger to be clear instructions to run away or you will be eaten.
And I will thank them for their warning. Guys.
There's no reason to stay. Should we just leave? Can we?
Have any of you hounds seen a giant brain on an octopus? I don't think they're going to really want to know about that. They would have killed him.
Focus.
I'm
We are
assuming.
looking for a red gemstone.
I don't... Okay, yeah, well, ask them about the gemstone.
Do you know where the House of Truth is? The gemstone.
You will be met only with more growling and aggression as they start stalking towards you.
All right. I think we should go, guys.
We should probably back off.
As you back away...
Sonic's not scared.
Fellas just ran off the screen. As you back away, they will stalk you slowly. Once you are a little bit a ways away, they will dive back into the bone piles, and you get that sense that you're being watched.
Right. Do you think they are protecting this area?
Because it's their home?
Yeah, if Carway had been here, maybe we would have seen some more disturbances recently. Everything seems a bit too neat.
Maybe you can ask them if they want to make a deal, like belly rubs for to allow us to trespass through this region.
Could also potentially offer food.
I would offer belly rubs.
Canonically, it's worked in the past, so worth trying.
It's true. It's true.
It has worked in the past. I'd say we come in peace. We will not touch your bones. We understand their importance. We are only looking for the House of Truth. If it's not here, can you tell us?
You just get more aggression and more verbal demands to leave from what appears to be the bone piles next to you.
Yeah.
We could share our food, but we are kind of limited in this region.
Certainly. Like, you do not have unlimited food.
Look, either leave or we fight. It's up to you guys.
What do we think that they're protecting anything that we care about, or are they just protecting their home?
I think they're protecting their bones.
So, I think that they aren't organizing these bones. There has to be some sort of higher intelligence, if you will, here. Like, I'm curious. That's what would drive me
you like
forward.
to try and identify the creatures before you and attain additional information about them?
I would love to study them.
Excellent. Roll me a study roll on them, and we'll see where we end up. Okay, so with a roll of 11, you would understand that these are bonehounds, as their name dictates, and a bonehound is a type of canid that has developed a digestive system that can get significant nutrition from bones specifically. While these bones are certainly ancient and ragged, there's no doubt that at least some of them would have some nutrition. living in a desolate wasteland like this would leave them with very little options for other food sources. And that would probably also explain some of the disturbances you see here. They probably dig up the ones which have the most nutrition from time to time. As for why this was originally here, though, like, these bone wolves definitely are not the originators of this pile of bones.
Right. Part of me feels like they are the dogs of the person who did.
Potentially. Not impossible.
That's my big brain theory.
Hmm.
Anyway, up to you guys.
I'll leave the vote to you guys. I don't think that it would be here, but I could be wrong. We haven't fully explored.
It's
I
not
don't wanna
here.
kill the
I'm
puppies.
telling you, it's not here. But we're here.
I don't want to kill the puppies.
Okay, then let's leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if the treasure hunter brain says there's nothing of value here, then let's go treasure hunt elsewhere.
I imagine, because of the situation you're in, you would essentially have to back out of the field of bones the way you came in. Being
I don't want to lose
stalked.
time. No!
Being stalked on the edges of the field until you've left the predominant major area. And you no longer have that sense of being watched. So where do you go from here?
Oh, we're just gonna have to skirt the field of bones and work our way to the ruined mansion.
We could
Excellent.
also go south, check out if there is any.
Do you want to go south?
We could go back to the path and see if there is something at the end of it. I don't know if that's like wasting time.
So you mean like this path here?
Yeah.
Well, given that we are not the first ones to explore this, and the guy on the fast mode of transport with a better field of view than us has determined that there's nothing of importance there, I would assume that we would be wasting time to go there.
Okay, that's a fair point.
So you circumnavigate around the field of bones, avoiding the ire of the bone wolves that reside there, and take the long, slow trek to the ruined mansion. The terrain goes from like the more kind of dense space around here, like as you progress this way, it becomes less dense in terms of like destroyed rubble and such. And you start traveling towards this ruined mansion where there are more buildings in some amount of condition, in that there are like more structures that seem to be partially intact at least. There is almost a sense of like sparse urban ruins here in this area, unlike over here where it just seems like desolate.
Since we're looking for it now, does the damage seem to be directional here?
Good question.
Roll me, I think, again, insight plus willpower, because again, you're trying to collate so much information that holding it in your head and trying to ascertain like the values of it, I think, requires a level of like consideration of mental fortitude to maintain that status. With an 8, you think if you were to try and pick out a predominant direction, you'd think buildings were collapsing northwards, but it is not a strong indicator. Like, you don't feel like, oh yes, it's definitely this. Whereas the Ashen Plaza felt very much, it was eastward. It's like, maybe they're falling north. Possibly.
Okay. Not as helpful as I was hoping. I was hoping west, or no direction because it was coming from here.
It's okay.
Slightly northward. Yeah. Oh, well. Oh, hang on. The map has done a funny thing.
There, I put down marks. So you can have an
Zoom
idea.
out.
Well,
Also,
so
thank you,
you're
GX Omega.
pivoting a little. There was a sound in the mansion? That's what he said?
That a large Sorry, my brain, my RPGX just dropped the spooky catcher, which dropped a cock room.
Double sound.
So when you said there was a sound in the mansion, I was like, "Are you talking about the large cock I just heard?" Like, what? Like my brain just was like, I'm fairly sure you don't hear those. Yes. Emir spoke about hearing something as the mansion. You approach the mansion. As you approach it, you note it is more constructed, like it is more intact than many of the immediate areas, with actual like some distinct buildings that you can pick out. It's probably if there was gonna be treasure here, this is the kind of place it would be in. Maybe, possibly.
All right.
Let's check it out, gang.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's go Tomb Raider on this mansion.
Before we jump into that, I think that this would be a brilliant time to take a break real quick.
Good call.
Yes.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And yet again, it's broken my indicator. Oh, no, I clicked on it and it came back. All good. Nice. Fantastic. Of course it did. Anyway, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are just about to approach the ruined mansion where Emir said he could hear some strange noises previously. As we approach the ruined mansion, there would be, just to be clear, I'm assuming that there is rest happening as the night falls and whatnot. We're just not worrying about it that much because time is an illusion. The ruined mansion itself, as said before, is a building in significantly better condition. Like you can actually identify, it has walls and such, which is not something that was readily able to be identified previously in most of the other constructions. You wouldn't be able to tell where one building ended and another building started. But this has like an entry archway that you could clearly navigate through and some kind of building in the center. And you're able to approach without any significant hostility as you enter the area. There's less of that red ashen hue here as well. It's more, I wouldn't say comfortable, but it's less oppressive.
Right. Guess it's time to look through the house.
Okay. So you are going to search through the mansion now that you're here?
Yeah.
Amir was speaking about something earlier about hearing a noise here. You don't immediately encounter any strange noises. It seems like a ruin, not much more. However, there is rubble to pick through here, should you choose it. The old building itself seems to have been maybe 1.5 stories tall. Like, there's definitely a ground floor with walls and structures and great doorways. And then you think there's indications of a floor above it, but that perhaps it wasn't like a full floor. Maybe there was a wooden structure on top of it, or possibly some kind of half-roofed, half-open area. It's somewhat challenging to see from your relative lack of, architectural archaeology, right?
Mm.
You can, if you choose to, pick through the bones of this place and dig up whatever you might be able to find.
Are we doing a group check?
Yes.
Are we digging?
Yes.
So,
Why are we digging through bones?
The rubble.
I'm digging through bones.
Oh,
I was using it as a metaphorical reference to the rubble.
okay.
Picking through
Sorry.
the bones
I
of the
thought
building.
we were literally about to look through bones, and I was like,
You
I don't want to do that as a group check. That sounds like an individual thing.
You are picking through the carcass of a building.
Gotcha. Yeah, let's split up, gang.
Okay, group check. This is going to require significant muscle, and I think significant insight. Those are going to be the 2 key roles, might and insight.
That sounds like Silex territory.
So I'm rolling the group check. Insight might. Group check difficulty and support check difficulty should be set to what?
We're going to go with a 10.
10 for both? All right.
You think support is always 10 by the letter of the law, and then
Okay.
the actual roll difficulty would be variable. right?
Yes, that's my understanding. And I'm going to go with 10 with the idea that 10 will get you something useful. And beyond that, you'll get like more the more success you get.
All right, so the supporter list is nothing right now. I don't have to worry about that. You guys can just roll after.
Yeah, so you don't click on anything yet. You wait for them to click
right.
support group
Okay.
check. So Pelleas, Gawain, and so on get to click those checks.
Right.
It does make
I did a
sense to use
failure.
my bond with who's the leader of this check, right? Not anybody.
Yes,
I believe
yeah.
you are supposed to pick the leader.
Yeah,
Right.
makes sense.
Yes.
Wow, barely.
Let's go.
Okay, so now when you click to roll group check, you'll get one bonus roll.
Let's go!
A result of 12. Okay, so you pass the check.
One
and you
in
get a
the
little bit
inside.
extra.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's okay. You know, it was important.
That's amazing.
We muscle through it. I mean, you muscle through it.
Hey, you helped him.
I'm, like, probably climbing some walls. Scout the place.
I'm just oddly looking around in a not very useful way, apparently.
I feel like Pelleas would be a guy that's just, like, kicking
I'm distracted by
small
Pelleas.
stones around and is like, huh, what's this? He gets lucky finding something.
Huh, what's this? Nothing. Oh, it's a one-zenit coin.
Just mounts out a wall for half an
Must
hour.
have fallen out of my pocket. There was a basement under a large plate that's hard to move. Sababa's not entirely wrong here. As you pick through the remnants of this place, collectively, between Flink and Silex specifically, Flink, you're able to identify that the floor is dipping somewhat in the center of one of the rooms, which would normally indicate some level of subsidence. Given the way it's angled, though, there does seem to be the indication there might be a void or similar underneath.
Ooh, secret compartment, is that correct? Thinking is hard.
Potentially.
Well, I'll point that out. Silex, go!
So Silex, in turn, starts maneuvering rubble and similar to start opening up the space and trying to understand it. And as you do, Silex, you hear in the smallest voice, it sounds so quiet and weak. You hear a slight, please, help me.
Did you guys hear that? Someone's calling for help.
Is that the sound of treasure?
Let's help them.
I don't think treasure often calls for help. I'm going to immediately run to where I hear the voice coming from.
Based on where you can hear, you think it's somewhere underneath you.
Okay, so that makes running there a little harder.
Yeah, I'm assuming, Silex, your next step, once you understand where it's going, is to start trying to clear the room more effectively.
Yeah, clear the floor, look for access. Otherwise, I'm just going straight down.
Excellent. Okay, so you clear the room, look for access. I assume you get the rest of the group working together, and there is a flurry of movement and activity. The party in total hears again this gentle voice again sounding beneath them somewhere, quiet, barely audible. Please help me. The activity above rapidly opening up the area, and as you pull away, you finally manage to pull away enough that you've got an idea of the shape of things. It seems that there is a large slab or similar that has, at some point, and it's really hard to discern with how much you've been moving stuff, but at some point has fallen in such a way as to close off access to the under area in some way. You would have to use brute strength to get it out the way unless you wanted to ascertain some other technical methodology to do so.
No. Let's give brute strength a try.
Yeah. I'll
This
assist.
might be a solvable problem.
Is the person in question underneath that slab?
You would believe that they are somewhere in the area that the access is inhibiting.
Blocking.
Yeah, like this slab
Okay.
is in the way of access somewhere underground, and you believe that by lifting this up, you'll be able to access that person's area.
Okay, then we should be good.
Okay.
All right.
In that case, Silex, you pull up this slab with the collective help of the group steadying it, but your raw muscular physique, as well as just sheer leverage and consideration, allows you to, from this position, now that it's cleared from the rubble on top of it, you are able to lift and pull it away. As you do so, it reveals a set of what at some point may have been a set of stairs, but is now grossly violated by time, age, and falling rubble. And you can peer down into the darkness, and you hear the same gentle voice, clearer now, open to the air, with the words, "Please, help me," as a figure steps from the darkness, looming up the stairs.
Oh, no.
Desiccated bone and flesh, wrapped in robes perhaps 100 years old. A magic staff, clearly winged and flickering, walks forwards, with sad, forlorn eyes stuck in a husk of a skull. A gentle verbalization of, "Please, help me," as it lashes out at you.
You kind of hear mixed messages here. Do you want our help? Do you not want our help? How do we help you?
Well, it's currently trying to kill you, so...
Yeah, I think we're in combat, or the... I got the feeling about halfway through that description, like, ooh, we made a mistake.
No, we're helping. We
All
pet
right.
the unfortunate soul.
Let's navigate you around a
And
little
now
bit.
I've just got that song stuck in my head.
Poor unfortunate. No.
Don't do
No.
that. Stop.
Ha, I don't know this song.
It's the Little Mermaid song. No one do it. Hey,
Dad is suffering in the
you
corner.
don't understand how quickly this stuff will get in my head and stay there.
It's already there, Jamin. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only
This,
one motion to room for sure.
this is not a villain. As such, the party gets to act. You were not in a situation where you're being ambushed either, so you are okay. Party, who is acting first, and in what order are you interacting?
Can I start by encouraging Gawain?
Absolutely. Gawain, you are encouraged.
Thanks. I was gonna say I would like to check its affinity for fire. I'll
Excellent.
pay my 5 MP tax.
It is neutral to fire.
Good to know. I should have checked physical actually, but we'll find out that one out. All right. Good to know.
Okay, so Pelleas acted by encouraging you, which means you gain 15 hit points.
Yeah.
That encourage is getting progressively stronger and stronger. And you also get to increase one of your stats until the start of
That's right.
the next
Till
turn of
it's-
Pelleas.
Yeah.
Okay, the unfortunate Flink just fucks off into the ceiling. Wonderful. Just to be clear about something, Pelleas, for your benefit, as far as you
can't see
can
me.
tell, the unfortunate soul has some understanding of language, unlike the previous things that you've encountered, which is important for some of your skills, right?
Yeah. It's hard to condemn things when they don't understand what you're saying to them.
The unfortunate soul is first going to wrap itself in an armor of wind. It now has +2 defense against ranged attacks. All right, party actions. Gawain, Silex, Flink.
I'm going to test the waters by throwing my Direx's spine at them.
The Direx's spine against a defense of 12 misses. The vortex batters it out of the way.
Well, that didn't go well. Well, I have my second weapon, the Death Fooder. That one's going to hit.
It does indeed hit, doing 6 light damage. The unfortunate soul being vulnerable to light takes 12 damage.
And I guess we
Oh,
all
we just
take our
all
turns
get,
now.
yeah. Damn. We're not a villain. We
You do all just
yeah.
act. Technically, there are champions which can get multiple actions. This is not
Okay.
one of them.
Okay.
This is, however, an elite, but
Okay.
you don't care about that mechanically.
I mean, I'll just He gets this +2. It's a
Excellent.
14 hit already, so that 15 hits.
Yes, that does hit. You deliver 18 physical damage as you shoot the unfortunate soul. It is, however, resistant.
Okay.
Not immune, though, just resistant.
Okay. Then I'm going last. I'm going to guard Pelleas.
Excellent. You take the guard action
Bam.
and protect Pelleas. The next round begins, and as the next round begins, the unfortunate soul seems to almost weep out, crying, "Please, please help me." As spirits rise from the ground around you. Party, what is your actions?
Should I follow the law here? Okay. I can do this once. Let's do it. Elemental weapon. Let's go with fire, because we know it will just at least do flat damage to both. And then we will also barrage to hit an unfortunate soul, the unfortunate soul, and the sleepy wisp.
Okay, so pistol fire damage, that is a hit on both targets. So you deliver neutral damage and neutral damage.
That's better than no damage and resisted damage. Significantly
Exactly.
better. 300% better, if you will.
Access to elements. Strong.
I'm not sure if that math checks out.
Yeah, it does. Think about it like this. If I had done physical damage, it would have been 7 damage, but because I did this, it was 28 damage. It's 300% more.
Yeah, because one was just immune to physical.
Well, but that's 400%.
You're letting the math fuck you
No,
up
no,
because you're letting
it's
the
more
wisp
percent.
sit there, so the 0 is fucking you up, but you combine it with the unfortunate soul, and then the math is okay.
No, he's saying it's 400%, and he's right. Because
No, it's
400%
times 4,
damage.
but it's
times
300% more.
It's
Yeah,
300%
okay.
more.
All right. Yeah, you're the one who studied
300%
Intergrad.
more, but it's 400% damage.
Yes,
That's the
Yes, but
The
I said it is
miscommunication
300% more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
I was, yeah.
that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
Combining math and language.
Good.
Glad we
It's
agreed.
awful. Don't do it. It's the unfortunate soul's action. The unfortunate soul is going to use Thunderbolt on Silex. Well, actually, it was going to target Pelleas, but I think it's targeted to Silex.
Hmm.
So it disgorges a Thunderbolt. The unfortunate soul's arms moving without a willful action, being almost forced into the movement.
Hmm.
The staff slams into the ground and strikes Silex with Thunderbolts.
Okay, so unfortunately that does hit me, but is it automatically giving me resistance to everything? It is, so I should only take...
Damage dealt by this spell ignores resistances.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Thunderbolt
fam.
ignores resistances.
Well, that's a shame.
Unfortunate, yeah.
Well, I don't take the 33, I take 29.
It is the party's actions after the unfortunate soul has delivered a horrifying Thunderbolt.
All right, I don't have enough MP to summon Nanto, so I'm gonna condemn the unfortunate soul. Just tell it. Just how you bad person, you.
He hurt your beefcake. All right, you should be madder.
So I can test this with a will plus insight. Not an impossible contention, but not a good one either. Okay,
Ooh.
great. Unfortunate soul loses 40 MP.
Bye-bye.
I feel like Pelleas is not dumb. Pelleas is a person who like all of their knowledge comes from like comic books.
Yeah.
Like Pelleas is very well read in like pop culture, which here, is classy, as we've discussed before. Like it's like poetry and stuff.
Oh yeah, amongst my own crowd of peers, I am not considered dumb at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Dazed or shaken? Which are you inflicting?
I am shaken, not dazed.
Oh, you know what? I shouldn't ask. This undead are immune to both.
We need to do Pelleas as James Bond.
My bad. The sleepy wisp will engage with attempting to drain Gawain. 16 to hit, 15 dark damage
That hits.
versus your MDef.
Drain me, mommy.
Protect is delivered. You are protected from that. You have resistance, and
I get +2 for guarding, so I should. Am I
16
understanding
plus
this correctly?
MDef.
Oh, magic. Sorry. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You want to still
getting
eat
hit.
this? I'll take it.
No, it's fine.
I have HP. I'm good.
So I just take the 11 here, and then
You're resistant to all damage because you're guarded.
that's what it is. Okay, so this I do resist because it doesn't have the special.
So you
thing.
take 7 minus 4.
I take 3.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Taking 3 is better than taking 15.
I knew this was a good idea.
We just didn't know why.
And the less damage these guys do, the less they're able to cast Umbra, which is mean and nasty and hurts you. Flank Silex, you're up.
I should go because I just used my protect and I would like to recharge that.
Excellent.
So I'm going to give up my guard. If I use a healing potion, I go back to -1 from full, which probably wouldn't be a terrible idea considering what Thunderbolt can do to us.
Although I'm going to operate under the foolish assumption that currently they can't cast.
Yeah, possibly.
Pelleas OP.
They are a caster, so they probably do have quite a lot of MP, but also Pelleas absolutely fucked their MP.
Pelleas
So-
just ate 4 MP after that Thunderbolt,
You know.
or 40. Yeah, so they essentially have used 60 MP.
Yes.
You still should heal. I'm just,
I think healing here is a good
Yeah.
tactical decision
You're
for
at
me.
like 8 health. You should heal.
I will spend then, hold on, it should be in my items, my 3 inventory
It's 3.
points to use a remedy.
There you go.
And I lose that.
It's a good idea.
Okay, so Silex has acted. It is the exhausted Wisp who is going to attempt to assault Flink. Yeah, let's go with Flink.
Oh no, it's robbing my soul.
It's a 16 to hit, 15 dark damage.
Damn.
It is a ranged attack, though.
It is a ranged attack. I didn't think about that last time. I mean, I'll just do the good old and deflect it.
Excellent. So you spend 21 MP and you use... I would actually say you probably use the Afuda of Life and Death.
Yeah, that's what I
specifically to deflect
said
this.
last time as well.
Yeah.
That is what enables this. I don't think I can deflect it with a physical weapon.
All right, Flink, it is now your full action.
Well, seeing a ghost makes me so scared I'm going to hide behind Pelleas because Silex looked like he's going to die any second. So I'm going to go behind
He did
Pelleas.
drink a potion, so he's looking better.
He did drink a potion, but like realistically, I'm not trusting that. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to hide behind Pelleas. Pelleas, please save me.
Excellent.
And I will just hide myself between Flink and Silex.
The next round begins. Party, take your actions.
I would like to act immediately.
Amazing.
1 second.
Fantastic.
I need to figure out how much heal I get. I get soul level multiplied by bond. I heal 6 now with withstand. Look at that number. Not that number.
Honestly, 6
Not that
HP
one.
every other turn,
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
like your ideal turn anyway is pretty good.
Plus the resistance from that. Like,
Yeah.
that's...
Yeah, slowly, steadily.
Y'all making
I'm-
me move the camera, drifting back to the left.
Yeah, I don't know what they're about.
I'll throw my Death Ufuda at the exhausted Wisp.
Death of Fuda against the exhausted Wisp, doing 21 light damage, delivered effective damage, 42 damage.
Good.
Damn.
Good. So this all
The
disappears.
Afuda
to
searing
willpower.
light through its body.
I'll get to throw. That was just one attack. I do get
Yeah, that's what I
to
was gonna
throw
say.
my Direxus spines. And I try to. I guess it didn't die, so I'll throw them at the same exhaust wisp again. But that is not good.
A 9 is enough to theoretically hit, however.
Makes sense. I got the knowledge.
And I think it is the Unfortunate Soul's action. They are going to cast a storm of wind on Silex and Gawain.
Why do they still have MP?
Casters have fat MP pools.
What I'll say is he didn't pick a third target. Maybe there's
Did
your
not pick a
copium.
third
There's your
target.
copium. Didn't pick a third target.
I am very happy I healed.
Yeah, totally.
You are battered by blades of wind as they slice through the air.
Because, in fact, that would have killed me.
Can I tell him off again?
I mean, if you want to.
I just want to make sure.
Understandable, but you know, it's up to you.
I think if you want to do that, you'd be better served to, like, very selfishly, you know. Just whisper sweet nothings in my ear, babe.
Fine. In that case, I am going to encourage Gawain.
Now I can eat a whole other one of those.
Pelleas is doing so much to support this party.
Yeah, like, it actually is really good. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wasn't, like, it was selfish, but, like, in a way that serves us. I can hopefully finish off the Exhausted Wisp.
The Exhausted Wisp, so clearly close to death, will attempt to drain the last vestiges that it can from Silex. 10 to hit versus magic defense, which is not enough. It does not impact its attempts to tear life force from your body being rebuffed by your sheer physique, constitution, and force of will. Gawain, Silex, you're up.
I'm going to shoot the ghost, I guess.
Excellent. Oh, you grant yourself an opportunity from that. Also, you deliver 15 fire damage, instantly eliminating the Exhausted Wisp.
I never crit. I don't even know what opportunities I have.
I have the table open.
Should I just do bonds, or is there something I should do right now?
You could, I don't know, maybe make him drop his staff. Like,
that's a good one. We'll do that, actually.
You need to tell me how that would work out, though. Opportunities don't just happen out of magic. You need to explain how shooting that wisp would cause the staff to fall.
Right. Okay, well, let me think about my opportunity.
You do have the ability to erase sections from a clock. Fill or erase up to 2 sections. So you could delay a mere search if you really wanted to.
I'm just going to hold on to it for a second.
Yeah, that's also fine. You can hold on to opportunities. It's all good. Okay, which means it is the Sleepy Wisp's action. The Sleepy Wisp having just witnessed Gawain's vicious assault and the death of its, well, the re-death of its companion, the evaporation of its companion, will attempt to drain Gawain for energy.
That does not hit.
Silex, that's your action.
I'm going to cast Elemental Weapon, and I shall bop the Sleepy Wisp.
You assail the Sleepy Wisp, doing earth damage, using your shields to impale and violate its existence. The magics of your homeland disparaging its mere existence as you deliver 17 damage to the Sleepy Wisp. It is not enough to end its reality, but it is nonetheless enough to bring it into crisis. Enemy action. Just going to keep it straightforward so I don't get confused as a GM, right?
Yeah.
Silex, that attack was heading towards you.
Okay. Well, it's hitting
given
me.
That you just assaulted it. It's hitting you. It's mean. It's cruel. And it's trying to rip your soul out. However, it does not deliver its full damage. It only delivers, I believe, 12, right?
Yeah, 12.
I just want to let you know, Silex, that you single-handedly have disrupted any of these wisps from getting enough MP to actually cast Umbra.
Yeah, that is intentional.
Because I don't know if you worked this out, but
very well
their
done.
mechanical function was to drain to get MP and then convert that MP into Umbra castings. And they have successfully done that once.
Yay. They rolled too high on the damage the first time. I couldn't stop that one.
Excellent. Pelleas, Gawain, Flick.
Gawain still has the buff.
Yeah,
It's true.
it is true.
Come on.
I'll just shoot the Sleepy Wisp to make sure that we don't mess this up.
Excellent.
Trying to get us some action economy advantage here.
Hit 14 fire damage, which impacts. It does not down or
Sorry,
dissolve the wisp.
I tried,
though.
guys.
As the unfortunate soul's action. Being left with no other options will be dragged forwards like a puppet and strike out at Gawain.
Yeah, I love this. Yeah.
Rolls a 4
That's
to
some
hit.
bonking.
Come on, man, that could have been like any of those rolls could have been on the magic ones, and I could have caught those easy.
Yo, I want this staff. Like, no joke, Pelleas. I think you want this staff.
It's no wonder that misses. With that name, it needs to do some growing first.
To be
It's
fair,
true.
I also want his staff. It gives me so much nostalgia.
I see you guys get the reference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without having played
It's
the
very
game.
good. Now, here it also makes Pelleas' stat growths better, but his current stats are
Okay,
worse.
Pelleas, Flink, you're up.
We both go anyways, right? So let me try to Death Fuda the Sleepy Wisp.
Excellent. Death Buddha, the Sleepy Wisp. A 16 to hit, 6 damage. It's light damage. The A Food of Life and Death vaporizes it, leaving nothing left of its soul.
It's
sealed away, sealed no your longer death. in
this realm of existence.
Very nice.
Exactly. You seal it away. Pelleas, you're up.
Wait, I get a second
Whoa.
attack.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
This is
I
Flink
apologize.
dual weapon
Flink,
erasure.
I apologize. I'm a terrible GM. I didn't account for the fact that the undead are still immune to poison. So
Ah, god damn it. I thought that one might be less
Just
undead.
throw a regular dagger.
I need to unequip my spine.
That's in character. In character. Gawain's like, bro.
you've got options. Use them.
And Flink is like, why does it not work?
They don't have blood. How are you gonna poison them?
I mean, you're right.
Pelleas, you're up.
All right. In that case, I'm going to bonk the unfortunate soul because
Love it.
I also have run out of options.
With an 8 to hit, you do you do that? You don't hit.
Ah, I
Your
miss.
blow is blocked by Est interceding on the assault.
This is what happens when you get a pair of casters fighting a physical battle.
The next round begins. Who acts?
Okay.
If we separate, does it look like Est is controlling the unfortunate soul here? If we separate them, could we just stop the combat?
I would like to try and do that regardless. Like, I was gonna. So can I use my opportunity now? Like, is that how that works? Like, I create an opportunity.
My understanding is an opportunity is kind of like a meta resource. And as long as you can explain how it occurs to grant some
Okay.
benefit narratively,
All right.
I think you're
Be
actually.
creative with it and like
yeah.
be an adult. Okay, cool. I can do that. I'll do it on my turn just for the ease of it. And like basically, yeah, it's just like I want to try and shoot it out of his hands. Use my opportunity
Excellent.
in that way.
Well, it is the start, so if you'd like to...
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you want to just immediately do that.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, a 13 to hit is an impact by like 1, just about.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got the shield up, and I think I couldn't remember if it was where it was at. I think 14 was the lowest I'd seen it.
So you hit, deliver 14 fire damage, and you shoot through the wrist, causing the staff Est to
Yes.
fall away.
Perfect.
This does not seem to stop the unfortunate soul acting. They still seem to be attempting to murder you, though Est lies on the ground.
Darn.
It-
At
it-
least it didn't dissolve.
Look, it looks sick, and it seems to turn attack properties to wind, which is also sick. So I'm just saying that's loot we can use.
Unfortunate soul will, having been shot, step forward and attempt to simply lash out at Gawain, delivering no effect. You notice how I'm having to roll a check? That's because they don't have any other weapons on their person. Pelleas, Silent Flint, Gawain, you're up.
I'm going to bonk it.
It's a bonk duel.
Excellent. It's a bonk duel. And with a 4 to hit, you do
How did
worse
you...
than
roll?
unfortunate soul. That's impressive. Silex Flink, you want to show them how it's done?
I got it.
Damn it.
We're like a pair of
18.
children.
14 attack, 18 earth damage. And as this earth ravages through unfortunate soul, you can see almost the remnants of an expression on the face of terror, of fear, and the begging of whatever you're assaulting with earth to please, both to help and to stop. It is vulnerable to earth damage.
Oh, that's Megapog. 36. Hey, that was my record. You tied my record. High five, bro. I think 36 is your max. We're both maxed out there, probably.
Whatever creature you're beating down here is being done in... You are causing it fear and terror by using earth damage against it, basically. Flink, you're up.
Alright, I'm going to do Flink special. Going to guard down right here. And take the first action in the next turn, just stealing it from the party.
Excellent. Beautiful. No, I love it. Good.
And Death Fuda.
You've targeted someone.
I don't know what happened there.
You targeted yourself.
Yeah,
I targeted myself.
Click on yourself and press T.
T!
Yeah,
T doesn't do anything.
There you untargeted. I didn't actually realize this thing. I have a button to click apply selected.
Interesting.
Which means, theoretically, instead of needing to click through this, you guys could target and then do it that way, maybe.
Ow! That's not what I want to do.
You fool! You fool! However... Oh no, hold on. No, it's just high enough. Even with the vortex in place, with attempting this ranged attack, you still make the hit, delivering 29 light damage on a vulnerable target. Do 58 light damage and sear away what's the remnant motive energies in the unfortunate soul as they pass from whatever was puppeting them into active motion to being mere death, a dead creature on the floor. You can see a relaxation draw over their face, no longer wrapped in the throes of terror.
Okay.
Can I steal their stuff?
Wait, let's pray first, then you steal their stuff.
Alright.
I am so relieved that this actually has freed them from their torment, and this is the help they needed.
Have you finished praying so I can get to looting?
Yeah, I don't need to pray for long. That's part of the pirate codex. You just take a second.
Why are you so excited to steal? Don't you have enough?
Yeah, to be fair,
Stop.
Pelleas does not have a magical staff.
I know, but just on principle, loot brain should not be Pelleas's brain.
That stuff is pretty sick. Also,
Okay, carry on.
the treasures
Anyway.
of the Hawaii waste are decorating my walls at home.
Actually, I'm going to say what everybody thinks. That stuff reminds me of Gawain's mom.
Understandable.
I'm gonna walk away.
It's sheathed.
So, Pelleas, you pick up the staff. I've added to your inventory.
Yay.
So they were being controlled by something. I bet that something is, inside,
Quite possibly.
downstairs, something
See what there is to see.
deeper in this cavern, perhaps.
As Pelleas examines the staff, they note a small carving of text, a name on it, simply marked Est.
Sick.
Beyond the aspect of it being, a winged staff as on the token. And it does air damage. It allows you to fly, but if you are flying with it, you cannot use it to make attacks.
How did I know I could fly with it?
It is an intuitive understanding upon grasping it, a tool you are familiar with.
No, I mean, I literally already knew I could fly with
Hardwired
Telepathy.
mage.
Just
Mage
nudge
brain.
it, okay? Like you just
Yeah.
don't make me explain why JRPGs have you intuitively know what an item does when you pick it up or even see it in a shot. Like don't explain. I can't explain that.
I was sort of saying, like, it was nice to be able to see the car captor stuff, what they could fly with.
That was a little bit of what I was thinking with it, yes.
It's pretty cool.
But okay, you navigate and investigate, I presume, the dark passage from whence the unfortunate soul rose.
Yes.
As you go down there and look down there and bring some light in, you realize that whatever was down here, like it seems like it might have been a basement or similar. It's mostly collapsed, so you can't access much of it. What you can see, though, suggests a place of ritual power at some point, perhaps. And the construction around here further suggests that the slab that fell down above was probably intentional.
Then we should look through this place thoroughly. Maybe somebody tried to hide something here. Or they just tried to hide from whatever was going on outside.
So you want to spend time and dig through this and examine it properly?
Flink does want to. Look for shinies.
I'll help.
I'm trusting Flink's treasure hunter brain.
Yeah.
Understandable. Okay. So you spend your time and you dig through the remnants here. It takes a while, but from what you can excavate without spending like several weeks getting an archaeology thing in here, you can kind of acquire the shape of things. There definitely seems to have been a deliberate room underneath here. It seems to have been deliberately kept at least somewhat secret. There was an intention that this was not going to be readily and easy to find. You think that it's very possible, based on also on an examination of the unfortunate soul's clothing, that they, like, that clothing is relatively modern. Based on the examination, you think that that person may have become trapped or killed here. And if they did, then that means that they were probably sat in the dark for days or perhaps weeks before they finally died. The location itself, with what's here, the remnants of some kind of room of ritualism, the small remnants that Gawain can find suggest that these are forbidden techniques. These are the kind of things that Flink... Actually, Flink has that book on the Ofuda of Life and Death.
Yeah.
The book on the Ofuda of Life and Death actually references some of the same shapes here. Except, Flink, I presume you let Gawain know that you see these things, the similarities?
Of course.
Gawain, you realize that the ones in the Flink's book are like... They're like the cartoon skull version of the ones you see here. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So they're similar in vagaries, but whatever was written, the small remnants you can find here was like the real thing. These are marks of death, of life, of motive energies of the self, on which most people would dare not research, or at the very least not research without a ethics council backing them up, right?
Gotcha.
Hmm.
So we're in for some shit, maybe.
Okay, Flink is not that reasonable. I would like to fix my Ofuda book
What do
with
you
the
mean?
right... Well, I have the right...
Oh, you want to
Forms here,
improve
right?
your Ofuda?
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're getting at. Like, because
Like,
you
compare
you
what I
weren't
have
able to
here.
use the whole book or whatever, right?
Yeah, I still need to unravel the secrets, and
So
I
you
think
want to
this
see
is
if you can
part
use
of the
this as
puzzle.
a codex?
I don't know if I can take this,
I'll help
but I
you.
would...
I'm in for this mental puzzle. Let me help you.
Hell yeah.
Okay, this would be something that would take a while to study and work through.
It's okay.
Like you can take your notes here,
Yeah,
but like actually,
Yeah.
sketch a page for Flink to like add to his like book
Excellent.
that he can use as a reference.
you take a reference page and you get what you can from here. Obviously, it's a lot of it's aged, so you're only taking like scrollings from the corners. You can't access the entire thing. If you were to spend like a couple weeks digging out the entire place, you might come across more information. As it stands, it seems mostly like you've got a couple meters squared of this room that is maybe 5 to 10 meters squared total, if that makes sense.
Okay.
The rest of it is going to require like heavy digging to get through, which is going to take multiple days.
We should tell somebody about this, maybe. Not that I've taken, like, notes about what we found here, but, like, that there is some interesting research to be done here.
Hear me out. We definitely need to rest. So, I mean, if we're going to spend the night here, we'll write down as much as I can before we leave.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Agreed.
Certainly.
So the only question then is, do you want to spend a night in Pelleas' tent or in my tent?
Oh, that's hot. I don't care.
It doesn't matter. Decide between the two of you.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it.
In that case, I'm spending a tent. Whoever wants to stay in my tent is welcome to.
I will stay in any tent pitched by Pelleas.
You guys are degenerates.
Yes.
I mean, it's for the whole party. This isn't...
Yeah, we're doing it for the party.
No, I understand. You're still degenerates, though. Okay, so you spend the time to rest in the magic tent. Another mark is added to Emir's search as you've now investigated 3 locations. As far as actual information about what went down in this place, this location probably didn't provide you too much.
This almost feels like a secondary... This feels like post-apocalyptic, if you will. Like, whatever happened here feels like it happened after the cataclysm.
It's certainly very possible. Or, I mean, definitely the unfortunate soul is a person from a more...
recent time.
Yeah. They don't seem to have been aligned they're clearly a wind elementalist based on the spells and powers that they use.
Hell
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
They don't seem to have been aligned with whatever was going on here. So it's curious as to why they were down here.
Well, I mean, I've already sort of made my conjecture that Oban used to be the spirit of wind, so that at least makes a very tenuous connection.
Certainly. Like, it's very possible this individual was investigating Oban. From there, they may have just become trapped here. It may be as simple as that.
Not my dad, is it?
No.
Okay.
You would guess, based on the outfit and figure and what you can see, that the unfortunate soul is probably a woman.
Ah.
So now what? We don't actually have all that much information. We could spend some more time here trying to dig more out, but it doesn't seem like there'd be much else here. There was dark runic magic set up as like a trap.
Like, I'm thinking about looking for evidence of, like, that this is the House of Truth, if that makes sense. Like, if there's anything in, like, what letters, the messaging, that would suggest, like, where we were.
Okay, so you essentially want to indicate, you want to investigate.
Yeah, well, like all the stuff I wrote down last night.
You can try and find.
Yeah, like, like, is there anything, like,
that's fair.
Does that suggest anything to me about where we are, I guess? What this place is?
Okay, so paper documentation is not something that's readily going to be found. However, with what you can find of the ritualist circles and elements here, you find a distinct, what seems like a decision to align what you can see of the circles along some line that travels approximately east-west. That does suggest that there is some lane or line of power between there.
So we're saying it runs under here? East-west under the ruined mansion?
Approximately. There is...
Okay.
So many... Gawain knows that much ritualism is associated around ley lines and lines of power. And generally you want to align to the local geological elements of that. And the line here runs approximately, not 100%. If you check out, is it still inaccessible for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of unfortunate.
There we go.
Oh, sick.
There we go. Cool.
So you can flick back to the Mahawahi Waste. And you can see on here, this is why I say approximately east-west, it runs this way. That suggests that there is some line of power that it is associated with.
I mean, remember when Flink said we should check out what's at the end of that path?
I was worried about that. It does seem to go straight to the end of that road.
It could also be...
Also, just to be clear about something, I'm using the word approximately repeatedly because your cartographical distinctions are not going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
How, like...
These are not cartographical maps. These are approximate. Okay?
How thick, if you will, is a landline? Or a ley line, typically.
A ley line? If you're talking about width, it's not the widest thing.
They're precise little guys? Okay.
It depends on the specific ley line. There's so many of different varying types, and sometimes they curve, sometimes they travel straight. But you're generally thinking like a general confluence of importance is going to be smaller than a football field on average.
I don't know if it's worth it to check out on the tower.
Yeah, probably not.
Unless there's, like, significant danger there.
I mean...
But if there's significant danger, then we don't need to check on it until we meet back up.
So what are you suggesting? That we, like, dig here?
I would suggest we follow the ley line southeast and kind of see what happens. Because what we know, having passed through the urban area kind of east of here, wreckage, at least from what I understand, seems to go north. And we know that there's disaster coming from the west.
So you're suggesting that there's something interesting here-ish.
Either there or east of there. Just like in towards the edge of the water and then towards the end of the road. Somewhere in there might be a point of interest.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
It might very well be submerged, according to some of the stories that you told.
That too.
Certainly possible.
What was the water depth? 6 feet or something?
Yeah, it's really shallow.
But I mean, like, in the sea, what were we saying? Like 6 to 12 feet? So like a big swimming pool?
Yeah.
I mean, that's big enough to hide, like, you know, single-story house. Like, especially if, like, let's say one of those pools there, you know, like, if any sinking has occurred, right?
There could be something just under the surface.
Yeah.
I can probably dive in there, if there is, like, a house. Probably good at swimming.
Could probably help you. Gotta get the elementalism, man. Or the ritualism. Should have gotten that instead of the lore master thing. They were both all in due time.
Okay, so my understanding is your current plan is you kind of want to just head this way-ish?
Yep.
Yeah,
Just try to follow what we understand to be the ley line and see what
I'm looking here.
Find out.
Sure. I'm looking right in this weird whatever's going on here. Looks sus.
Excellent. Excellent.
My gamer senses are tingling. Gawain's like, gamer senses.
You tread onwards, finding... You're breaking from, like, the more obvious paths here, and therefore traveling over urban decay, I would guess.
Hell yeah.
As you traverse kind of this general direction, you will come across a gradual, like, steady lessening of that urban decay. Like, there definitely seems to be less stuff, again, as you head more, like, just generally easterly. You progress on to this point, and you find, as you get to this tip here, this is what appears to be, I think actually Pelleas might have some more awareness of this. This looks like a reservoir to you, as if it was a reservoir at some point, intentionally. Obviously, it's been damaged or decayed or similar, but there is still enough water pooling here from the local area as it is one of the more low-lying locations, there is an overall suggestion to the landscape that there is something perhaps just east of here, somewhere this area.
Yes.
A few elements of detritus, perhaps even an aqueduct remnants as well. I assume you pursue that?
Yes.
Excellent. You find yourself here, and you mark yourself along an interesting location, a place where there are far more defined architectural elements as you come across 6 standing pillars.
Interesting.
Yes.
They seem to surround a fountain, as far as you can tell. Like, there is a central location of what was once a fountain at some point, but is now clearly destroyed. You can see some elements of these pillars they were clearly taller and have since fallen away, decayed, or otherwise. You also see that the pillars marked directly east and west are both marked with an iconographic representation of a dragon, if that makes sense. So that's this alignment. You don't immediately know the meaning of that, but you may ascertain or question.
Is there symbols on the other pillars?
Not that you can make out. That doesn't suggest that they weren't there. There is also an aqueduct running specifically to the east. You can see a few remnant pillars of it heading in that direction.
Do they run into the water, or is it still land there?
There is an area where the water has interceded, but you can see from where you are that there are a few brief remnants on the other side of it, suggesting it carries on this direction.
All right. We got a choice to make, gang. Do we backtrack? Or do we try to gather more about what's going on in the southwest?
I'm thinking the Emir's already at the southwest.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's going to find something, he's going to find it. We may as well backtrack.
Well, will he? Because if there's monsters, like, he'll just get there and be like, well, that's it, and then have to turn around and leave if it's being properly guarded.
Actually, speaking of Emir, you would make note that as you are discussing this at the 6 pillars, you have something like not a completely commanding viewpoint of the water, but one of the more open viewpoints from here than you've had elsewhere. It seems to be that this is somewhat of a little bit of a high point. You do see their vehicle traveling this way, across the water.
Okay, so he's already been there and is leaving. Is there anything else that we can see from here that isn't already on the map, now that this has established a point of vision?
From here, you would actually be able to see a slight path because you're now a little bit of a high point. You can see a slight path in the water heading southwards that suggests there might be something there, but that would involve trudging through the water.
We were just talking about stuff being submerged. What do you think? Do we want to go diving?
You want to go diving? We'll go diving.
I mean, these are shallow waters, so it'd be ankle to waist deep for the majority of it.
You guys have fun. I'll keep
Alex
watch.
can carry you on his back.
I can carry you.
I'll stand 4 feet away from you on the dry land right here. Like, you guys won't be that far.
I'll be fine.
Well, how far away is the path?
The path extends deep into the water. You don't see the end of it from here.
Okay. So we have to, like, properly travel in the water if we're going to follow it.
Yes, if you want to follow that path, you are going to get your boots wet.
All right,
How
what do you say,
afraid are
Gawain?
we of him having found a significant clue? And he's just on the way there right now.
I We'll also wait outside of the water until you can confirm the path's going somewhere.
Oh my
Wait, so
gosh.
what is everyone just letting Silex just walk into the
No,
water alone?
I'll go with him.
Okay.
Are we
getting
splitting up
my-
the party? Are
I
you
wasn't
guys
trying
going
to be
east?
difficult. I just was like, we don't need to all get in.
No, that's
That was
fair.
just role playing.
So
If there's something down there, I'll go down there.
as you start your way into the water, you start walking down the path that you can just about see. It's very much like the rest of these paths here. It's like it is more an area of flat land than it is an area of specifically like paved pathway. And so, given that it's now beneath the water, which is surprisingly clear when undisturbed, it does, once you get a little ways in, it does say about here, right? With the party, I assume, keeping on the coast. It does very clearly continue much further onwards into the water, like significantly. You would have to leave the coast and leave the immediate interception range of the party if you wanted to continue following it.
I'm gonna shout to them, guys, it keeps going. I'm gonna follow it.
Okay, I'm gonna follow you now. I will get in that water and follow you.
Excellent. So, the party as a whole, unless Gawain says otherwise, gets their boots wet and starts heading south following this path.
I'm gonna steal that fucking staff and I'm gonna fly over them.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
My stuff, it's in my hands.
You're not using it. Mom said it's my turn.
No.
Is Pelleas flying, or did Pelleas forget about the staff and is now just boots wet, staff in
Pelleas
hand?
is fine with getting his boots wet.
Okay.
And he's not giving anyone his stuff.
Okay,
Excellent.
fine. Then I'll fucking.
Fine,
I
good.
guess I'll walk.
Nice.
No, it's fine.
What did you say, Side?
I was saying that I could give him a ride if he really wants to keep himself dry.
No, I don't care that much.
Okay.
So, you head further south and you come across an area of more complete ruins. Most of what you've come across has been so clearly washed away. But as you come here, you come across more broken buildings that seem to have been something. You think you can make out the remnants of an imposing wall that has subsequently fallen down, perhaps in rather large segments. And that has fallen away in this direction. It feels like that might have been some kind of defensive structure at one point, similar to the walls around Telgard, actually. You can also see more of the path continuing southeast. It looks like it might be in the direction that Admir had been traveling. Speaking of which,
Just further
another
out.
point on the meter.
Just further out in the water.
Yeah. Like, it seems to be, like, if you were to try and converge the 2 points, Emir seems to be traveling due east. If you try to converge them, you'd suggest that it's somewhere around here.
Well, why don't we do that? Why don't we go to that point and hear me out? Assuming it's faster, Pelleas, like, literally, please fly ahead. Like,
Okay.
Scout, come back. Like, you know?
Okay.
I guess he's never mind. No, it's a bad idea. I lied. Forget I said that. Don't do that.
I was going to suggest that I give Flink the staff so that he could go further out.
I don't know how to use that staff.
Doesn't matter. Forget I said anything. But Flink scouting is a great idea. Flink wants to do that.
As the party starts heading out in that direction, it's a fair trek through this wetland, this lowland. Some of it's more easy than others as it becomes quite shallow, but you're still dealing with the constant lapping of the water. And it's somewhat of a struggle since there's clearly no way you could rest here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very much a case of you need to keep going till you're done. You get to about here, and in fact, you pretty much converge with Emir here on his skiff as he starts having it gently hover towards you. clearly this skiff has a somewhat imperfect control being a hovering vehicle, so he doesn't want to get too close.
Mm.
And as he gets close enough to be within, like, shouting distance, he says, "Good to see you again. I'm glad you're not dead."
So am I.
I don't suppose you found anything interesting.
We could see some ruins just to the east. But there are some sailbirds here.
Sailbirds? Do any of us know what these are?
You know that is another name for a creature you're more familiar with under the name Nimanu.
Yes. Yes.
They are 9 foot tall when standing at their like full height per se. Predominantly flightless bird creatures. They are something of like a filter feeder or a stalker. They're a wetland bird, a wader. That's the word I was looking for. But they're notable for their considerably interesting trait of having large sail-like wings that rather than paddle and swim their way around, they will literally sail themselves along with the winds and the storms rather than fight against them.
I love them. They're so cool.
So they're sort of sailors, fellow souls.
Certainly. They do have the consideration that if they're floating along and you look tasty, they will just try and eat you out of curiosity more than anything else.
Yeah, fellow souls.
Yeah.
Get that. Sometimes I meet a bird and I'm like, yeah, that looks tasty, I gotta eat it.
Yeah, exactly. No, that might be food. Chomp. Which, considering their size, does lead them to being quite dangerous.
So can we see them, or is that something that only Emir can see from the boat?
He is being on the boat. Well, I say boat. It's not quite a boat. It's like a low-lying hovercraft. A ground effect vehicle would be a better descriptor. Which does give him quite a few feet of height on you. But you can see the movement in the distance around here.
Well, we don't exactly have anywhere else to go except keep walking towards the ruins following this sunken road, so we'll see if we can clear them out for you.
Good to hear it. I'll keep close by.
Hey, but if the treasure's here, this counts.
You get a smile and a nod type energy. Like that kind of course attitude.
Only of course
2,000 each, right?
He shakes his head and starts maneuvering the skiff.
Did you just break the deal?
Blink, I'll give you 2,000 in a minute.
Oh, you have that money?
Okay, so you're going to continue approaching the...
Yep.
So you continue onwards and approach the location. As you get here, the ground kind of transitions and you find more of that wall-type structure, this time marked falling away south. What's more intriguing is the large, heavy-set creature perched upon the few, or wading on the few rocks in the area, which, as you approach near it, will start gently heading towards you and lets out a casual roar.
Oh, he's gorgeous.
Yes. Should I wave? Is that a hello? Hello, fellow soul?
As
Are you here to eat us?
you wave, it kind of makes a head cant, followed up by a roar. Pelleas, you understanding beasts would understand that noise to be a one of quizzicality, possibly trying to decide whether this is food, threat, or something else. Although, given your size, it probably doesn't think you're much of a threat.
Yeah, we're definitely not food. You can't eat us. No,
It makes
we're not planning to hunt you either.
another croak inquires with a confused questioning of, but you look like food.
You also look like food. Doesn't mean you are food.
It doesn't seem to know what to do with this information, as it kind of, I guess, skitters would be the best thing. Like, just gently stepping from limb to limb, having up to 4 in contact with the ground at any given time, as it tries to ascertain what to do with you guys.
I suggest that we go our separate ways.
I will say, as you are here in this area, you do note that there is more detailed and interesting ruins here, more so than the other location with just the defensive wall that you could find.
All right.
Tell them we are just here to look for shiny rocks.
All right. We'll be finding shiny pebbles for our nests back home. But outside of that, we don't intend to cause you any harm.
On the implication that you intend to find shiny pebbles in its location, it racks its wings out in a kind of threat display and goes, "Wah, wah, wah."
Oh,
Oh,
so you actually know there's shiny pebbles here?
Is she gonna give me that rah rah
It is you, Pelleas. You believe it's telling you to sod off from its shiny pebble collection location.
If it has a shiny pebble collection, one of those shiny pebbles might be red.
yeah.
In which
I'm with
case
you
we're
there.
having chicken tonight.
Well, gotta strike before it strikes.
Sorry, my friend, but you just became food.
Well, okay then. You guys get to start your turn first. So,
Who's up?
party actions.
All right. I don't know whether this bird's gonna do
I start
any...
combat with my thingy, where I pay 5 MP, and I ask you about its affinity for, let's say, wind.
Neutral.
That is not a turn, right?
That's
That is
not
not
a
a turn,
turn.
that just happens.
Then I would like to go, because I do wanna, this
Excellent.
is in the way.
Flink, you're up.
I'm going to hinder him. Trying
Okay.
to maybe...
How are you hindering?
I guess... Going to aim at his wings?
Okay.
Maybe that should work with my Direx's spine, specifically.
What is the outcome you're trying to achieve?
Poison him.
Okay, so ins plus dex, and that is a Direx's spine. You can do that as a property of the Direx's spine. You can apply poison by using the hinder action.
Wow, that was
A result of 4 is not 10.
absolutely
That does not
horrible.
hit.
I mean, I really want to eat it, but I don't think that is like a justification to reroll that. I mean, I want the shiny things.
I mean,
Actually,
think you
yeah,
could
I
reroll
think-
that based on your identity.
Yeah. Actually, I do want to have the shiny things. I am
Okay.
a cowardly ninja pirate. I'm going to do this again. Dex inside going, yeah. Oh! It's a fumble!
With
My
the fumble,
first!
he makes it back. Let's go. He makes back the Fabula point.
It was free.
The min-max. It's called
Okay,
optimizing
well-
losers. You should try it.
The Nimaru does gain an opportunity, and I think this is going to be a fantastic time to say the opportunity. I'm going to expend it immediately, and I'm going to say, Flink, the Director's spine it's lost in the water.
Yeah, that makes sense. that makes
You're going to
sense.
have to attempt to recover that later. It is currently not in your possession.
I've
Beautiful.
unequipped it. It's gone. I can't reroll that. It's over. It's so
It's
over.
over. It's so over.
I think that's just my turn then.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
much it.
that
The
sounds good.
dissociated Nimanu is going to immediately attempt to counter an assault Flink with a clattering dive. It will kind of hop up on its barely flight functioning limbs, just sheer strength, and clatter and batter into Flink like an aggressive swan protecting its child.
That will hit.
Yeah, you're
Silex
good.
protects. Instead, it
thank you,
impacts
Silex.
into Silex, battering and splashing water everywhere. It is a flurry of barely associated limbs and interconnectedness. Pelleas, Gawain, Silex, you're up.
Since he ran into me, I think I'll take my turn here, and we're just gonna hit him. Ooh,
No, you're
never
not.
mind. Unlucky.
Pelleas, Gawain, you're up.
I'm gonna condemn it just so that I can shake it.
That's not the worst thing. Okay, it's going to roll Insight Willpower to contend your total roll of 12. It rolls an 11. It is condemned. It has no more MP. That's just gone. And also it suffers, you said dazed?
Shaken.
Or shaken? Shaken, okay.
Shaken, not dazed.
Excellent. Gawain, you're up. 8 to hit is not enough. Wow, this has gone terrible. It's gone terrible.
It's fine.
No one has succeeded at anything.
Yeah, like I mean, it got condemned.
Yeah, condemned. We're fine.
No damage has been dealt.
We have big action economy advantage. We're
Party
fine.
actions. Have fun.
Let me go first so I get protect back. I'm gonna try to redeem myself here. Dang it.
That is actually a hit.
Hey.
That is supposed to be physical damage, by the way. I did not change my
Okay,
weapon
cool.
back.
Okay, it's action, and it only has one action because
Hell yeah.
Pelleas condemned it.
I love. Yeah.
This time it will assail Silex with a 13 to hit, 20 physical. That is a miss. Actions, please. Gawain, flank Pelleas.
Since it doesn't matter, I would like to do some equipment stuff and equip a kunai.
That is an action. It allows you to switch out as much of your equipment as you want and your accessory, but not your armor.
Can you just throw the Fuda?
I could just throw the Fuda, but I wouldn't be able to throw twice then.
Yeah, no multi-attack.
And I want
Up to you, I don't mind.
No, I'm equipping the kunai.
Okay. Pelleas, Gawain, you're up.
Thank you.
13 to hit from Gawain. Impacts effectively, doing 15 damage. This bird is injured. It is inhibited by this. It did not enjoy getting struck by that. Pelleas, you're up.
I'm gonna bonk it.
An 8 to hit is a miss.
How much would be a hit?
Think we saw a 10 hit is the lowest we've seen hit so far.
You have seen a 10 hit, so 2
If
would
I
probably get you.
use
Yes.
if I use my bonds with Gawain
Okay, explain to me how your
with
bond
a
with Gawain.
Fabula point, because I don't want to look bad in front of him with my shiny new staff that I didn't let him ride earlier.
That's actually like very appropriate, I think.
You didn't let Gawain ride your new shiny staff?
I
And
know,
I did
right?
offer Flink to ride it almost directly afterwards.
What an asshole.
You look like an asshole. So
Thought you were
if
best
I
friends.
use that because I've got 2 on my bond.
Yeah, you spend your Fabula point, and that actually transitions it to a hit. You do 13 air damage, which is neutral damage.
Ruby.
The round continues on. Party, what are you doing?
I do not have to go first this time.
You do not
True.
have to go first.
Then I'll just attack.
Excellent, Flink.
Take my Death Fuda
That's a hit.
and my kunai, and both
That's
of
also a
them
hit.
apply cheap shot for 2 additional damage each.
All right, that is all applied.
You.
That's done.
The dissociated Namanu is going to attempt, I say, to assault Flink for that attack. It will attempt to leap over Silex and batter into Flink. With a 7 to
It's
hit,
a
it is
miss.
unsuccessful. I'm going to say that it attempts to leap over, and then Silex just grabs it and drags it back
I'm
to
like,
the ground.
I'm like,
Yes.
evacuate.
Like kind of like the wrestler interception, right?
Yeah. I was sad that it missed because that's what my protect was going to be, was yanking it back to the ground.
All right. Gawain has moved out of the way. I assume, Gawain, you're going to hurt somebody, right?
Yeah. Obviously, we dodge. It's like a sick, like,
Yeah.
you dodge roll and you're like, you shoot him.
Yeah, that's 17 to hit. It is now in crisis. Pelleas, Silex, you're up.
All right, I'm gonna bonk it again.
Excellent. The 10, that's 16 air damage. Jeez, you're chewing through this thing's hit points. Silex, you're up.
All right.
Suplex it.
We don't want to hurt you. Just leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really don't want to hurt it.
I don't.
Okay, party actions. You're up.
Can I shout at it to say, you're not gonna win this fight? I leave now.
You can make that an action. Roll me insight plus willpower's a roll check to see what you can achieve.
Okay. Roll check.
This isn't going to be hard, by the way.
Willpower, insight.
A 7. Okay. You managed to communicate that you don't necessarily want it to kill it. You just want it to go away.
Mm.
It, for its action, will start attempting to run away. It will do its best to get into its sail position and catch as much air as possible to catch the breeze to sail it away from here with as much rapidity as possible. It trails some blood in the water as it does so. If you want to continue to try and kill it, you can, but then we'll go on to the clock section. Otherwise, you can just let it go, at which point we'll assume it automatically succeeds on its attempts.
I'm fine with letting it go.
I would like to let it go.
Excellent.
Majestic Nimanu.
The disassociated Nimanu escapes with its life. For now.
See you, bird friend.
Yeah.
You stand in the shallow water of what you can now see in the ground, now that you're not being, harassed by this giant bird-like creature. It is decidedly a arch of some kind. It must have been quite a proud one at some point based on its location. A lot of it's been ebbed away. But what is most intriguing, I think, about this location, as far as you guys are concerned, is the very clear iconography of a sun and a path leading northwards.
Well, I mean, we gotta follow it after we pick up Flink's knife, his spine.
Yeah. Gonna go dive, if necessary, for my spine.
You pick up the Durex's spine, and we'll go back over here, and you start heading northwards. Obviously, you've elected to let Emir do his own research here. After all, you are in competition. You start heading northwards. You find this path marked up, matching up to here.
There's going to be something at the end of this road.
And you rejoin the land here. There is this path going off this way. But there's also just a lot of information on this map. Perhaps you could gain some inferences and tell me where specifically you want to go. Because if you just follow this path, you kind of already know that just following this path is going to get you back over here.
Mm-hmm. Hang on. Can we get some drawing tools in here?
I'm just saying, I think you have enough information on this map to understand. Or at least start making guesses.
So I'm just probably missing the understanding.
I'm just thinking that the mansion arrow pointing down is going... Oh. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do.
This is where I'm looking.
Okay.
All right, also not what I wanted to do.
How small do we need to make this?
The larger the area you search, the more time it's going to take, and the more check marks Emir gets on his search while you make yours, right?
Okay, then let's really narrow this down.
Of course, if you narrow it down too far, you could miss it.
Yes. So let's do a circle, because I think that's probably appropriate. Can I drag it once? Yes. Okay, perfect.
Let's get rid of the big
but I
circle.
can't change the sign.
Yeah, get rid of all of my circles. I have no idea what I was doing with that. I was trying to make a measuring tool.
No, I get it.
The ruin mentioned to where the westing thing was, because I figured eventually those two lines would meet around there-ish.
Would anyone like a narrowed?
So, to be clear, if what I understand, Summer, you wanted a line from here, like this, right?
Yeah, that would
Okay.
also meet up with the 6 Pillows west line.
Okay, so if you converge this line, then, I mean, side's got this circle, the small circle here,
Yeah,
that converges on both of them.
Yeah.
And is
Circle
directly
seems good.
north of the sun symbol.
And is directly north of the sun symbol. And that's a pretty small circle, to be fair.
Okay, so as long as you say that that's pretty specific, then I'm happy with that. How is everyone else? Would you like?
Yeah, I think so. Seems like a good guess.
But yeah, any notes from the party?
No, I mean, that intersection makes sense. I think it's either that or we missed something at 6 Pillars.
Yeah, because I mean, like the dragon and the sun aren't exactly communicating the same information, but they are pointing in the same direction.
Yeah, I would also say that the dragon is in line with the Ashen Plaza as well.
Hmm.
do you sort of feel like we've got 3 arrows pointing at the same thing, though?
Oh, you would be really funny is if we're completely off base. The dragon is pointing to the Ashen Plaza and the sun is pointing to the field of bones. And there's just nothing here.
It would be funny. Are you comfortable with searching that search circle?
I feel good.
Let's go for
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
You traverse northwards to get into the approximate area, and you start searching around. This is going to take at least a segment of Emir's search in time, and you may find stuff out after each segment of the search. At some point, you may choose to stop searching, but I'll let you know like how exhaustively you feel you've searched the area in that time.
Okay.
So, because it's a relatively small area, your first segment of time of just searching, it gets you to the point where you don't feel confident that there isn't anything here, but you haven't found anything that indicates that this is a specific place, beyond the fact that, again, you have that lack of urban detritus, which you found more so on the outskirts. It's kind of weird, considering all things. Do you continue the search?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Your next segment has you feeling more confident that you've exhausted. You'd say with about a 70% certainty, if there was something here, you'd find it. And I would say that extends significantly higher as you come across a large, flat area that is strange in its flatness, as in like it's flat enough that you think someone made a floor here at some point. It's an open area with just these elements of flatness, and as you approach, you get this feeling of disquiet further than you've had in the general area before.
Hey, this is progress.
Good word.
Progress of a sort. And you kind of try and navigate around this area until you find what seems like a few remnant ruins in the center of this place.
Okay.
And they seem out of place because there's been an overall architectural style here of block construction used everywhere with cement or some kind of interceding mortar. That's what you've been finding all in the ruins. But the construction here seems like these ruins seem monolithic. They seem just a few of them kind of erupting almost out of the ground rather than the clear slab construction or block construction that you've seen elsewhere. There is something here. So as you stand here and examine the immediate area, you see, again, there's this clear, strange flatness in this specific area. Almost slightly bowl-like, actually, in the overall location. It seems to rise out as it heads further out. And before you, the slabs, the pillars of what they were, there is almost a taste to the air of dust and age, and a sensation of trespass as you walk around here. What do you do specifically to investigate, if anything at all?
Pelleas, this might be your domain here.
Feels spooky.
It does feel spooky. Can confirm.
I'd like to get up high, I think.
Okay, so you want to try and climb one of the
Yeah,
locations?
like I would like to get a better view, maybe, while...
If we only had a staff that could let you fly,
Yeah,
it would
if
make
only,
things
if
easier.
only.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine. I can climb it. I don't care.
Gawain, I will let you use my...
I don't want it.
Okay. In that case, I'll use the flying stuff and get up high.
Okay, so Pelleas and Gawain, you take upwards. Gawain climbing slabs, Pelleas taking flight. And as you rise up, you come into... You know when you... have you ever done any kind of shadow puzzle where you got to move things into the right locations to make a shadow? And then the moment you get it into the right position, you're like, oh, like that instantly realizes to a shape, right? You're like, oh, I recognize that. As you rise up, your brain has that moment. Now that you can look down and you can see a pattern of a slight discoloration of positions of these pillars of similar. You think that one, at some point, there was a huge building here. And this building was supported on these huge, strange pillars. And the pillars are the only kind of remnant aspect. And further, that there is a set of concentric square shapes investing inwards. And you think that the flat area here is essentially the ground floor of whatever was going on here. And Gawain specifically, you recognize that these are symbols and shapes placed in a place of power, suggesting something not entirely unlike an arc cipher.
Okay.
Although of a very, just physically massive design.
I'll relay that to everyone, obviously, but...
You also think, now that you've got some height, that you could probably attempt to find the center point of this. These things tend to have convergent center points.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like something like that, or like something that from up here, like we've been looking for a way to go down.
Right.
So that's what I'm looking for here.
Right. I mean, starting at the center point would probably be a good place to start. So does the group go to the center point and take a look around on the ground level, investigate stuff?
At Gawain's direction, I go to the center.
Excellent. So you go to what would amount to the center point of this, normally the most important part of any kind of concentric element like this. And it seems desolate and quiet and dusty. But you think you see, laying at the center of the ground, embedded in the ground, some kind of red stone.
Dibs.
Perhaps what you were looking for.
We saw it first.
You did see it first.
All right. Nobody panic. Can I touch it?
Okay, so Flink immediately goes to put his hands on it. And as he does so, his hands laying upon whatever this thing is, reality shatters.
Oh, fuck. I hate when I shatter reality. Oh, okay, well, That was an accurate description.
I was not expecting to see an angel here.
Unsubscribe.
Yeah.
And an eye peers through you from... You can't even begin to describe it. Genuinely, there is no part of your brain that can describe how you are witnessing this thing. It is as though your concept of reality has simply been violated, and there is this thing before you. And you know that it is peering through something at you. It is like the sensation, the understanding, your brain conceptualizes it as somehow it is an eye through a telescope, except this isn't a telescope because it would have to be there. There is no position in which you can stand and look at it where it isn't somehow able to gaze at you. It's as though reality itself is twisting it to always be able to see you, and you feel only an intense sense of trespass and violation, as you are the offenders against something that you could only describe as God. And that's where we're going to end session.
What?
Just had to touch it.
I'm sorry. Couldn't resist it.
Well, this is a pickle.
A little bit of a pickle, yeah.
That is so cool. I love the little twitches in the animation.
Yeah.
I hate it, and therefore I love it.
Anyway, guys, that's the end of session. We're not going to be back for like at least 3 weeks, I believe, possibly like significantly more. So you're going to have a while to be absolutely terrified of what this thing might be able to do and what it's going to do to you. So look forward to that. You guys get some experience, which I think is 5 plus 5 points spent divided by 4 for the party. So it's 2, round up, 5, so 7 XP. You gain 7 XP, which means you get 1 level and you're about halfway to the next one, roughly, I think.
Hooray.
That is level 10, chat.
Some of you might have some stuff upgrades at level 10. Be mindful of that. However, we are done for today. This is the horrifying creature I wanted to introduce you to. I think you found the house of truth.
I love it.
I hope you feel scared, right? Like, that's...
I feel like I should write my last will.
I'm going to take ritual right now.
Right now.
I'm just saying, you guys leveling up
I could solve so many problems.
as a, like, getting stuff in a direct response to reality as you understand it literally shattering in front of you makes so much sense. So if you want to pick stuff that is a direct response to this, don't be afraid to, like, just go ahead.
Okay, where is the thing that kills gods? Let me just go through the whole manual again.
Surely one of your Afuda will take care of it.
Yeah, exactly.
If I
definitely.
just studied them, oh god.
Here you go, you've offended God. Good luck.